Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another game of the Rugby World Cup. This one taking part in Pool D. England currently undefeated in this Rugby World Cup competition, having 3 wins from 3. But the Samoans, they want to cause an upset here, and whether or not they can do that, we will soon know how the table will sit. But looking through currently at the way that this table sits, as you can see, England at the top of the bunch. They are on 14 points, so there is no way for them to miss out on the quarterfinal qualification. And alongside that, there is no way for them to lose their spot at number 1 for Samoa. Even if they get themselves a bonus point victory here, it means that they will narrowly be missing out on the next stage of the competition. But the big thing here for Samoa is if they win this game, they automatically qualify for the next Rugby World Cup. So that is the big goal for the Samoans, to cause an upset. They do come in as heavy underdogs coming into this contest up against the English, that if there was ever a time to win a game, if there was ever a time to dig that little bit deeper, it is right now for Manu Samoa. Looking through at the English starting lineup, it will be Alice Genge at number 1, Jamie George at 2, and Dan Cole coming in as the tight head prop. Maro Toje at number 4 with Ollie Chisholm slotting in at number 5. Courtney Laws, Tom Curry and Ben Earl, the loose forward trio. So no Lewis Ludlam after an impressive performance from him in the last fixture. Tom Curry, he is also returning from his suspension that he received at the start of the Rugby World Cup. Alex Mitchell will be the starting 9 with George Ford at number 10. The man is in some brilliant form at the moment. It's an interesting debate whether or not it will be Ford or Farrell who start at 10 for the quarterfinals. I believe that this combination here could work quite nicely with George Ford at 10, but then Owen Farrell at number 12 means that Tuolangi then gets pushed out to number 13. Johnny May at number 11, Joe Marchant coming in as the number 14, and Freddie Stewart there at 15 to close out the English starting lineup. Now, last week they did go with Marcus Smith as the 15 for this game. Freddie Stewart does get that chance. For the Samoans, it will be Jordan Lay at number 1, Summer Malolo at 2, and Michael Alatoa as the number 3. He is also captain, coming in rather than Brian Aluamile, who will be off the bench. Sam Slade at number 4, and Brian Alanausi at number 5. Theo McFarlane moves back to 6 after transitioning between lock and loose forward throughout this Rugby World Cup competition. Fritz Lee is at number 7, and Stephen Luatua gets the starting spot at number 8. Actually started the last contest as a lock due to a late injury that we did see for the Samoans. Jonathan Tamatine, the starting 9 with Lima Sopawanga at number 10 rather than Christian Leliafano. Now, we haven't seen a huge amount of Sopawanga throughout this Rugby World Cup competition, but if there was ever a game to get it right, like I've said, it would be this one. Up against the English, Danny Tuala at 12 with Tamua Manu at number 13. Naria Famai comes in for the suspended Ben Lamb. Nigel Wong out on the right wing, and Duncan Paioa to start at number 15. I would have loved to see him in the midfield with Danny Tuala at fullback. Perhaps that is something they look at doing throughout this game if the combination doesn't quite work. We have got their red card for the eggplant, which is, of course, referring to Owen Farrell from Kerr there, and a 29 win in Argentina-Japan draw. Samoa will make the quarterfinals, says Criseo. Is that actually the case? Because I know that they talk about head-to-head being an important factor for who makes their way through. Because currently in this group, I do have the list of it. I know it's head-to-head, then it's points differential, then points for, points against, and who you've scored certain points against, not till about 6, which is world ranking. But currently for Samoa, I believe that it would actually be, because they've lost to Argentina and they've lost to Japan, whoever is a little bit ahead out of those two, if they're on the same points as the Samoans, that side would go through because of their head-to-head result. If it was somehow a draw between Samoa and one of these two sides, then I believe that is when points differential does come into play. But it's a weird order that World Rugby have decided to go with in this game. Yeah, 3-way tie. It's points difference, says Chris COC on the rankings, or in the listing of how they are deciding their difference. They have actually got the points differential as second. I've got a list here somewhere. One moment, we will find it to show you what we are talking about. Here we go. So they look at the tiebreakers, your head-to-head results. So whether or not you bet the other side that you're on the same points with, that is the way that they determine who goes through. If your game up against them was a draw, then I believe it goes to the points difference. Now, this could be completely wrong, of course, but that is the one that they've got as the competition format, tiebreaker, everything along those lines. So, of course, at the end of the day, Samoa, they want a massive win anyway, just in case some red cards, or some refs need red cards as well, says Revenge, and at least a yellow, says Kerr. And the thing is, from here, if you get yourself carded, you are more than likely going to be missing the rest of the Rugby World Cup. I'm talking if it's a red, of course, a yellow, you got to make sure you're careful, that is for sure. And Upper Wales says stage be licking. And also we have got there, looks like an Eddie team selection, says Gareth. Yeah, there's quite a few, I guess you could say almost like an old school feel to this South African lineup. Head-to-head as two-way tie, three-way is points difference for the first team, then head-to-head, says Criseo. So head-to-head is two-way tie, 3 points, or three-way is points difference. Although, in that case, I believe England will end up on a different amount of points, won't they? So is it, if there's 3 teams, it goes to points difference, but if it's 2 teams on the same points, it's head-to-head? Because if that is the case, then in this one, England will be at the top, of course. And then, I guess it slightly depends on what kind of result we see from Argentina or Japan. Because I'm just looking. So that would mean that Argentina and Japan do have to draw, don't they? So Argentina would still be the top side out of those two. I mean, there's a lot riding on it, I guess. And Samoa, Argentina, Japan, I'll be all on 11, says Criseo, and should be head-to-head, then bonus point, says Kerr. In there as well. And we have got the all guns blazing Samoa, nothing to lose, says Stone Cold, and Samoa wins by KO, says Ghost Park, or Ghost Play. Well, that's the thing. In this contest for the Samoans, yes, there is the automatic qualification for the next World Cup on the line, but if they can somehow just get out of this game, putting in a great showing like they did up against the Irish in their Rugby World Cup warm-up games, earn the respect of the English who are hoping to go far in this Rugby World Cup, currently undefeated, sitting on the 3, looking at England, Theo Dan, Joe Marley and Kyle Sinclair, the 3 men who will be coming off the bench, 2 of which were a part of that 2019 Rugby World Cup squad. George Martin at 19 with Billy Vunipola at number 20, then Danny Kerr, Marcus Smith and Ollie Lawrence there at number 23. For the Samoans, Sailor Lamb and James Lay will be the 2 in the front row alongside Paul Aluamili, the man who I did mention was in the starting lineup last week, but does instead come off the bench now. Soatala Fa'asa'o at number 19. I'm looking forward to seeing him. We know what he can do when he gets a little bit of space. The physicality that he brings to a game will be very entertaining. See him match up with England and also Alamana Matanga, the other forward replacement. Although I should mention Miracle Whailangi, another forward replacement that they've got. He is playing number 23 for this contest. Milani Matavao from the Sevens side of things. Of course, the Sevens scene returning in December. Christian Liliofano is at number 22 and more than likely the replacement kicker for Leima Sapawanga. And just like Paul Beers, Scotland win by 21 and I then get a bonus point. The Boxer out, says Criseo. Although, yeah, I guess it is possible, but the chance of Japan and Argentina drawing and Samoa winning this game by, I think you said it, they have to win by 29 points. Like, I can see them sneaking a victory. I don't see them winning it by more than 4 tries in this match up against the English. I feel like England, something would have to go extremely wrong for that to happen. And let's go Samoa, says Blues Nate there. And all guns blazing Samoa, nothing to lose, says Stone Cold, exactly right. Now we're hoping to finish their World Cup on a high. Looking through at the way that Samoa have gone throughout this Rugby World Cup competition. Samoa sitting on 43 points to 10 for their first result up against the Chileans. A decent performance from them winning that game by 33. They then were defeated by Argentina by the 9 points, 19 points to 10. Samoa's discipline let them down in that contest. Also, the decision-making near the end of the game was what hurt them the most in that one. And then losing to the Samoans, or losing to the Japanese, by the 6 points, 28 points to 22. So they like to have a close game every once in a while, Samoa. And I feel like that is what this game up against England is going to be, one that possibly could go down to the wire. But for the English, their last 5 games, they did have their warm-up game up against the Fijians. Now, the significance of that game is soon to be seen because those two sides may be meeting in the Rugby World Cup quarterfinals. England winning that game up against Argentina, 27 points to 10, but not scoring a try throughout that fixture. Still winning by the 17, 34 points to 12. The win over the Japanese, and then 71 points to 0 over Chile last week. We saw 5 tries from Harry Arundel, who is not in the starting lineup or reserves for this contest, but at the moment sits right up there in try scorers in the comp. We have got there, so Samoa when they qualify for the next World Cup, says Sports Fan. They certainly do. It will go wrong for England, lol. They have a player named after Manu Samoa, says Chris Sarah, and also hit that P-knuckle button, guys, says Stone Cold, and also we have got there, let's go England, says Nicholas, and hoping for some big hits, go Samoa. And yeah, the big thing as well for Samoa is they do have to remember they have still got international games coming up in the future, and if anyone does get a card in this game for something significant, they will be missing those international games that are just around the corner, so they will still have to be disciplined. Like I mentioned, they've given away quite a few penalties over the last couple of performances, but if they get it right, their backline has got potential of scoring some tries up against this English lineup. For the English, they just need to make sure they do more of what they've already done. They've done enough throughout their group stage matches to make it into the quarterfinals. I have actually got it here as well. They will be the first game that has taken place on the... Where'd it go? It's hiding. It is one thing with the editing software. Every once in a while, it makes them disappear, but if I click this button, it should be back. There we go. So these are the quarterfinal fixtures as they have been confirmed. And I should mention that Wales are now sitting there as the winner of Pool C. So the winner of Argentina versus Japan will take on the Welsh in the first quarterfinal. New Zealand, they are waiting to find out whether it is Ireland, South Africa, or the Scottish who they will be facing. England, they have got their matchup up against either Fiji or Australia for the quarterfinals, depending on the result of Fiji-Portugal, and then France, they'll be taking on either South Africa, Ireland, or Scotland as well. But England, as you can see, they have confirmed their spot. Their game will be at 4 a.m. Monday morning, New Zealand time, or that is 5 p.m. for you guys in South Africa, or 4 p.m. for anyone who is in the UK, eagerly awaiting to find out who they will be facing. We have got there, please give me a shout out, or please give a shout out to my mum, Catherine. So shout out to you, Catherine. If you are doing well, have you been enjoying the Rugby World Cup? We have had plenty of exciting games in this competition. Manu Samoa is named after the team, says Chris. And also we have got there, hello to everyone from South Africa, says Grant there. And I wonder what the betting odds are for a Samoan win, says Mornay Lagrange. Well, that would perfectly transition us to this that I have got here. For Samoa to win, they are the biggest underdogs out of all the games that have taken place today, as $8.50 underdogs going up against the English. Now, I believe that, to be honest, they should have a better chance than $8.50, but I still see them as heavy underdogs in this game. And the big thing for them will be to put on a good showing before the end of this Rugby World Cup competition. Like I mentioned, a win for them would result in them automatically qualifying for the next Rugby World Cup. And that would solve a lot of hassle, a lot of extra games that they would have to play up against. Probably Tonga would be one of the teams that they play. Last year we saw it as Samoa beat Tonga in the 2-match series. And then from there, I believe it was Cook Islands versus Tonga as the other match that did take place. Go Samoa, says Grant. And also we have their Samoa's discipline will let them down. I wouldn't be surprised if Samoa doesn't end up with 2 players in the sin bin, says Kevin. Although when we talk about discipline, we also kind of have to mention about England. Of course, Owen Farrell just coming back from suspension. Billy Vunipola just coming back from his red card. Tom Curry returns into the starting lineup after getting the first red card of the Rugby World Cup. Now, as controversial as it was, because I feel like that was a yellow at worst, but yeah, 3 English players getting reds in the recent past. So there's a chance that England are another side here that we need to keep an eye on for the discipline and penalty count. Go Samoa, says Grant. And I all wish me happy birthday, says Jacqueline. Hopefully you do have a very good birthday indeed. Although I believe it's evening for you at the moment, Jacqueline. So hopefully you're having a nice birthday dinner. And Diane loves Richard. We love rugby, says Diane there. And happy birthday, Jackie. And also England kind of have to save face, but they're clawing it back again. Not a completely lost cause, says Mr. Novelbro. And yes, cheeseburger, fries, and pepperoni pizza just arrived. Nice cold Fanta, says Kerr. We do enjoy a Fanta on the channel, of course. The referee in this game. One moment. We'll scroll down. And the answer to your question is, it is Andrew Brace in charge of this one. And then his assistants, it is going to be Nika Amash Ukeli, which of course is the Georgian referee. Chris Busby as the other assistant in the end, Brian McNeese, will be the TMO for this matchup. So, yeah, Andrew Brace in charge, the Irish referee. We have got there, yes, thank you, Hamish, says Jacqueline in there as well. And the conditions for that last game in France were actually relatively nice. The weather, playing ball for the final round. I hope that we don't have a huge amount of rain for the quarterfinals. I feel like that would be the worst time to have rain about for those matchups, but hopefully it's relatively dry and it does stay nice throughout the rest of the competition. We have got there, evening Hamish, how are all of we doing? Says Stefan, doing very well, of course. Enjoying the late night rugby. We've got one more game later on tonight as well, which is Scotland versus Ireland. Going to be a big one. Hello again from Uruguayan, living in Portugal, says Go Travel Planet. Have an ice cold black label and a fat Zola. Says it was there from Grant. Who do you think will take this game? I believe that, to be honest, England should win it, but Samoa, after that performance that we saw up against the Irish in the warm-up, if they do anything like they did in that game, they've got a decent chance of pulling off a big upset near the end of this competition. They are just showing the Samoan huddle. Someone there, Stephen Luatua, plays for the Bristol Bears in the Gallagher Premiership alongside a couple of the men in this English starting lineup. And I and Hamish go Samoa, says Robert there. And also happy birthday. Yeah, they've just said mathematically Samoa not completely out of the quarterfinals, but they would need a miracle in terms of the other results that do take place for them to make their way through. Condensed milk wins all, says the Revenger. Also, South Africa can't wait for the Irish-Scotland game, nail-biting. Will Farrell play now? He is indeed playing at number 12 for this contest. So they've got George 410, Owen Farrell number 12, says Criseo in there as well. I guess you were right in that regard, but it's weird how the head-to-head, in terms of they say that it's the first thing that matters, but then they actually do look at that points differential a little bit sooner than some would anticipate in that regard. But I feel like head-to-head would have been better to have second and then points differential first, just so that overall there's less maths that has to take place. I know that Pool B, a lot of people are still trying to get their head around who can go through for what points. There's a whole table that had to be made for it. Sama Malolo, the starting two for this game, 25 years of age, the youngest in the front row, alongside Jordan Lay at number 1, and Michael Alatoa is in there. Head-to-head, only 2 teams, not the 3 teams, says Chris. Although in that case, it's a weird one, isn't it? Because I guess head-to-head in the triangle would still work in this case, seeing as Samoa did lose to both of the sides. But in most cases in that triangle, it's kind of each team has had 1 win. And thank you so much, Michaela says. It was there from Jacqueline, and I also a fan to fan Kerr. I wonder what Hamish is drinking, says Morne. I've only got water. I'm very basic for these live streams, of course. They are just showing that new midfield combo, Tamua Manu at number 13 for this matchup, and then 12 will be Danny Tualo. Again, Hamish, come on Samoa, you can do this, says David Richards, and also Hamish is drinking tequila disguised as water, says Kerr in there as well. Tell you what, that would be impressive if I was able to down 1.5 of tequila and still almost put sentences together. To be fair, I struggle at times. And thanks, Hamish. Mum says hello. Says cool story, bro. It can be gin, says Mikhail in there as well. But looking through at a bit of the other information that we've got for this round of the Rugby World Cup, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we are up to this game. After this one is finished, we have only got another 4 games left of this round, and then the 8 games taking place as finals footy. But for now, England versus Samoa, that will be kicking off in only 10 minutes time. Ireland will be playing Scotland as the last game of today. Japan versus Argentina, that will determine who goes through in the quarterfinals. The winner of that game, I should say, or else Chris will get angry. Tonga versus Romania, that is a game being played for pride and to see who can finish as the 4th side in that group. And Fiji versus Portugal, the Fijians need 1 point to be able to confirm their spot to play England in the quarterfinals. And that point, it might be a tough one because Portugal, they are a good side. We will have the preview of that video or the preview of that game coming out a little bit later on the channel. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. We have good there in the chat, fan to the most German soft drink, says Kurt. And also, how can I watch World Cup for free, says Moonstone. So if you go onto the Rugby World Cup website, you will then be able to see the list of where to watch And then depending on what country you're in, depends on what options you've got. Some options are free, some options aren't free. Depending on whereabouts you are in the world, you may need a VPN alongside it. Let's go Samoa, you can do this. Says Andre Vermeulen. And also we'll get there, did you hon? I'm not sure what hon is. I should mention I didn't get a chance to try and assemble an office chair, as I did end up having a snack and also filming our Fiji versus Portugal preview in between the two streams. But that chair, it is going to get it at some stage. That sounds dodgy, but we're gonna get it all assembled nicely. Marcus Smith going to be at number 22 for this game to get to start at 15. For the last one, the security is pretty tight, but sneaking into the stadium would give the best view. Says, it was there from Kurt, you have gobbled some no does. What happened to you in between the streams, Ian? I feel like you've consumed a lot of alcohol in between. No does. Says Ian. Still, you can repeat it, but it still doesn't make sense to me, unfortunately. But now the two sides just about to make their way out of the tunnel for this exciting fixture. Do let me know, ladies and gentlemen, who you think will be walking away with this victory, your score prediction, and then also alongside that, what or who, in fact, you think will be the first try scorer? Which player do you think will score first? I honestly feel like it will be an English player. I think I'm going to say, see, that's the thing. I like to think for England it's going to be someone who we don't predict, but I'm going to go Ben Earl. Which gets high on Rugby League Samoa, bet England, so Manu Samoa can do the same, says Chris Sarah. That's not quite how it works, but I like the optimism. And they're, of course, completely different sides taken to the field here. The Samoans going to be playing in the Rugby League in the very near future for the Pacific's Cup. No dose is a pill. No dose is a pill to keep you awake, says Kurt there. And might a bit pissed, says Ian. And time for a beer for the game in England, says Rex. And there as well. And Curry to score first, says Akaris. Okay, so we're thinking the same thing with that loose forward trio of the English. England by 7, says Nicholas. And thank you, Kurt, says Ian there in 2014 for Samoa, says Grant. And also, what are your thoughts on Rugby League, says Arthur? We've covered Rugby League in the past as well. And we are hoping to cover some of the Rugby League that is coming up in the near future. But we probably will end up covering it on the Kiwi Lads Sport channel rather than the Kiwi Lads, mainly because we could end up with a copyright strike from that league, and then it would be a big shame to get copyrighted right when the playoff games are happening for the rugby. And Arundel to score first is bystander, and a Lime to score first. I assume that's Lima for Lima Sapawanga in that case, and also England 45 to the 17 of the Samoans, says Mornay Lagrange. But the two sides just about ready to take to the field. We've got there from Kerr Farrell to get the first try for Samoa, red carded a penalty try, says Kerr. And that's the thing, England will be on eggshells for this game watching Owen Farrell, because I know that his tackles, they do get criticised a lot, and probably for good reason with the amount of times that he has been penalised for certain challenges, but they need him for the future games, I would say. Like, yes, they played well without him, but they will want to have him as an experienced head for those next matchups, and if he's suspended, he's not able to do that. So hopefully he has a good game. Hopefully he tackles below the belt and does stay out there on the field. England starting lineup, though, Alice Gens, Jamie George, and Dan Cole as the starting lineup. Front row, Maro Toje and Ollie Chisholm will be the lock-in duo. Then Courtney Laws at number 6, Tom Curry, number 7, returning from his suspension, and Ben Earl at number 8, who has had a pretty solid Rugby World Cup thus far. Alex Mitchell at 9 with George Ford as the starting 10. I feel like George Ford, his X factor that he brings in terms of that kicking as well as a little bit of the running game. He is alongside another playmaker on his outside, Owen Farrell, with Manu Tuolangi at 13, which I'm curious to see how that goes. There seems to be a lot of power in that middle and a lot of size, I guess you could say, rather than the speed, as that speed does come on the outside. Johnny May, Joe Marchant, and then Freddie Stewart at number 15 to close out the starting lineup for England. For the Samoans, Jordan Lay, Sama Malolo, and Michael Alatoa will be the front row. Samuel Slade and Brian Elena Usi, the lock-in duo. So Elena Usi coming in for Chris Vui, who was missing from the last contest due to injury. So Luatua did start in the lock-in duo. Theo McFarlane moves back into the loose forward trio. Fritz Lee at number 7, and then Stephen Luatua will come in as the number 8. And I feel like this is one of those games that he needs to have a big performance. He plays alongside some of the English side in the Bristol Bears, are going head-to-head with his old teammates. Jonathan Tamatine, once again, the starting 9 for the Samoans, with Lima Sopawanga getting his first start at number 10 of this Rugby World Cup. The other games, they have gone with Christian Leriofano, and now Sopawanga going to show what he can do. Danny Tuala at number 12 with Tamua Manu on his outside at number 13. Naria Famai at number 11. Then Nigel Wong at 14 and Duncan Paiaua. They are consistently sticking with him at fullback. I still feel like him in the centres could have been a good play for the Samoans here, but instead Paiaua, he's going to need a big game off the back and hopefully doesn't go too badly. We have got the super sticker from Andre as well. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. Have you ever smoked silver belly? Says Ian, I've had smoked salmon, but not silver belly, no. And I don't want to call this one our first non-bet match for me, says Peter Wild. And Farrell tackles like a free safety in the NFL, says Gus. And personally, I would drop him and build a team without him, says Kurt. Well, that's the thing. Manu Tuolangi and Joe Marchant in the midfield, it's a decent option. Like, it actually has worked pretty well. And then you can have space for Arundel on the outside. So I think you're almost right in regards of, like, yes, they'll want to have him available, but I honestly would only have him off the bench for the English. And when did you wake up, said Siddhartha? So we woke up at about 12 or somewhere around there. So about 5 hours ago, we did set the alarm for. We have got there as well. Does England winning by 14 points sound low? The thing is, it does to a certain extent, but then it also depends on what Samoan side show up, because we have seen Samoa defeated by only 6 points in one of their games. In the other game that they were defeated by 9. So it would be their biggest losing margin, but up against the side that has beaten those two other teams that were able to beat Samoa, I guess you would expect a relatively high margin. We have got there, how's it everyone? Andre from South Africa, says Andre Berger there. Welcome in, almost 37,000 subscribers. Please everyone, thanks a billion in advance. Says Grant, yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 37,000. I see this one getting very naughty indeed, says Mr. Novel Bro. The Samoans and the English national anthems have been sung. Billy Vunipola giving a bit of a high five there to the big man Fritz Lee. Good evening, says Mr. Kiwi for life. Do let me know, anyone who hasn't already, who you think will be the first try scorer in this matchup. I honestly believe that the English loose forward trio is a good place to start looking in terms of who will be able to cross that try line first. Although for Samoa, if anyone was going to score, I believe it would probably be Naria Famai, getting it out to his wing. He's there rather than Ben Lamb, who was struggling. I agree with you, Hamish, with regard to Farrell on the bench to cover the number 10 and 12 shirt. Says Akaris. Currently the Samoans about to start the pre-match ritual. The English fans trying to sing over the top of them. And I mean, that will fuel Samoa for sure. In this case, they'll feel disrespected by the fans and they'll want to go out there and put in some big hits now on those English players. England score first. I bet you haven't tried Rabbit, says Ian. I have not, no. Is Marcus Smith better than the AB Smith? Actually, who is the best Smith and the rugby world on the World Cup? I mean, Kwaka Smith has had a real impact for the South Africans, of course. Aaron Smith for the Kiwis has looked pretty solid. Recently getting himself a hat-trick. We have got there England number 7 to score the first try, says Mornay. So that would end up being Tom Curry, man who is just back from the red card, the first of which of the Rugby World Cup competition. Ended up with, I believe it was a 2-match ban, which still seemed relatively strict, seeing as contact didn't look absolutely huge. And let's go Samoa. Here's Chris there, but like I mentioned, Samoa this game more than likely is the one that will determine whether or not they are automatically qualifying for the next Rugby World Cup. They've just done the Chahu as well. I will not do it as well as Theo McFarlane did. I wouldn't have him at all. Higher chance of him swinging a game negatively than positively, which is a shame to say. He's had that, or he's had his time in the spotlight. Punt him and move on, says Kerr. We can hear all around the ground the Samoan supporters with the Chao as well. Aiden has said careful in there. Is that careful with what? With the Samoans? Or what am I being careful with, Aiden? Do let me know. But Farrell looking determined here. Billy Vunipola they are showing as well. All they need to show is Tom Curry, and they've shown all the men's in the recent history. The other stream was closed by Stan Sports. Says Aiden, that is very strange. That Stan Sports. Wait a minute, was it a stream that was actually showing the game though? Because if they were actually showing the game, then that's probably the reason why it got taken down. Samoa, you got this. Says Samoa there. Morning Kiwi lads, how's it cuz? Says Spider Mick in there as well. But the Samoans fired up. Pre-match is done, and now we are ready for the two sides to take to the field for the last time in this Rugby World Cup, perhaps for the Samoans. Yes, okay, says Aiden. So yeah, I'd say it was because they were showing the match footage that did get them taken down. Are we going to watch the game live or just commentating? Says Steady Aim. It is just commentating because the other one that was showing just got taken down by the sounds of it. Where can you watch it? Says Aiden, depending on whereabouts you are in the world will depend on your options. Your best bet is to go on the Rugby World Cup website. Then they'll have a list of where to watch, and then you can see exactly where you can watch it depending on what country you're in, because geographically there are different options. Samoa to make history, says Orlando. And I'll say yes, it is the next best option with Farrell. Drop them all together, says Akara. So would that mean you'd have Marcus Smith off the bench, I assume, at that 22 jersey? But yeah, I feel like the midfield combination of Tuolangi alongside Joe Marchant, like, nothing was really wrong with it, was it? Like, they could have used it again and again and had a Rundle out on that wing and it would be fine. Let's go Samoa 685. Says Samoa 685 and Ireland the best, and we are going to be covering the Ireland game just around the corner. If South Africa didn't make it out of the round, do you think it right that South Africa sued World Rugby? Why are they suing World Rugby, though, if they didn't make it out of the group? It's on Stan Sport here in Australia, says 278, and Springboks winning, says Ewan 69, and Welsh boys doing me proud. Wales 2003, says Taffy, and come on Samoa, hand it to England, says Calmac. And I'll be inclined to keep Farrell if he managed to show some charge and growth, or change in growth, but he has continued along the same path with no deviation, says Kerr. And also Samoa 22, England 34. You're tired in your last vid. Can you show close up of your pupils, please? Says Ian. I mean, I can tell you right now they're extremely bloodshot, and they have been throughout this whole Rugby World Cup because we haven't had much sleep at all, but somehow we're still functioning, so that's the main thing. We're still breathing. That's the other main part of it, I guess. If the bookies and pundits are always right, there'd be no need to play the matches, give Amish a boost, and click like, says Igor. So anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. The game just about to kick off. England will be going from left to right, and Andrew Brace, the man who was in charge of this contest, the Irish referee, and I'm a Samoan fan for the next 80 minutes, says Calmac. Do you think Fuff will recover from injury in time for the quarters, says Kerr? Surely, he's got to be, doesn't he? Just strap him up. He'll be completely fine. Put him in his budgies. He'll be a happy man. Duncan Paiola inside of the 22. Big clearing kick from Samoa to start off this game. Does find touch within the first 10 seconds. The stadium being full should answer if anyone will be watching. Parts throughout the British Isles, even Ireland, will be heaving. Says it was there from Wordle, is it? Wordle G, maybe? Now England charging for Manu Tuolangi. His first carry of the match. They are saying he was born in Samoa, which is why he has got Samoa in his name. Now Sama Malolo looking for the turnover. Has managed to do so as well. Samoa now in the breakdown, looking to be physical early. Sling and pass from Tamua Manu. Space opening up on the outside. Lima Sopawonga going around the tackle attempt on Manu Tuolangi. Courtney Laws makes the ankle tap. Now pop pass out to Jonathan Tamatine to Danny Tuala. 40 metres out from the line now for these Samoans. Sling and pass. Lima Sopawonga gets it across to Theo McFarland. Now to the right once more. Cutting out the ankles was Tom Curry on Brian Elena Usi. Tamatine once again goes to Tamua Manu. Tackle low. So far the defence from England has been strong, although we saw that one line break coming for Lima Sopawonga just a little bit ago. Now Tamatine goes back to Lima Sopawonga. Slinging wide pass from Duncan Paiola. Gets it off to Danny Tuala. The ball just drifts into touch off his grubber. And England now with the line out inside of their own 22. We could there know the option for Farrell was on the bench or drop them all together. Start with someone new after the cup. Says Akaris, and glad not to see the suit and tie tonight, says Ronald, although it is coming out for the next live stream. I should mention for South Africa versus Scotland versus Ireland. There is a video where a player, one moment, we'll go there, goes to kick the conversion, ball drifts past the post, while the ball is still in the air, the player of the opposition kicks it, and also goes over the crossbar and counted a conversion, should have let it drift. Says no, mum. Yeah, that was probably the big one that we did see going around this week in terms of the controversy. And go on, lad, you got their surnames down, much respect. Says Taffy. And quick survey, is anyone not from England supporting England? Or is it every non-English person cheering for Samoa? Says Kerr. Hope England get smashed, to be fair, says Taffy. England to win. Take a bet. Compliments Simplex, horse racing and sports betting broker, says Andre. And everyone is cheering Samoa, even half of England, says Cal Mack. Anyone know where to stream online? So pretty much, yeah, that option that I mentioned of going on the Rugby World Cup website, then you can see where to watch depending on where you are in the world. Because for us in New Zealand, it's on Sky Sport, but if you're not in New Zealand, it won't be on Sky Sport. There'll be other options that you do have to find in that regard, and that Rugby World Cup website will help you find them. Now, scrum beat for the Samoans, 22 metres out from England's line, about a 30 kg advantage for the Samoans, billing in at 9:37. And greatest respect, brother, I give you a comeback bouncing, says Ian. I'm used to it on YouTube by now, though. I feel like if you can't enjoy like the joking side of the chat, then I feel like it's always a long day at the office. But for us, it's like it's no water off our back type thing. Hopefully, this is the only water that we see today. That sounds like I'm trying not to pee myself, doesn't it? Right, penalty to England. I believe Michael Alatoa is the man who's been penalised there for leaving his feet, Kerr. That's always how it seems, says Gus, and supporting England from Houston, Texas. And also, we have got there Scottish people. Only ever support two teams, Scotland and the team playing England. Says Kerr, hi Hamish, I would love to see the Samoan beat England. Says Peter Mason, and great World Cup this 100%, says Staffy. We have got there, don't worry, Kerr, Fuck the Clerk will be fine as long as he doesn't run out in South Africa's speed out underpants. You're not a Redcoats fan from the USA, says Robert, and there is only a chance for Samoa to win this game. Is to play well and no mistakes, says Herman. And now the rolling maul for England has started up. They are running down the field. This is probably the most successful rolling maul in just that play that we have seen throughout the Rugby World Cup. That was going hugely forward. Now kicked him on. The ref for May cleans it up, but they'll go back for another penalty in favour of England. Kill them, England, to hell. Those one-eyed South African supporters, says William, and also not from England. Would still like to see them beat Samoa, South African with Scottish heritage, says Bruce. Who do you fancy winning the cup? I still believe that it will be a side on Pool A or B side of the draw, which is harsh because, of course, England playing here and they haven't lost a game so far throughout this Rugby World Cup, and they will, in fact, go for the corner here rather than going for the 3 points. We have got there that Haka scare no Englishman. The longer the pantomime takes, the longer it takes for Samoa to be destroyed. Much love to the Samoan brother, though. I know a couple serve staunch blokes. And also, hi Hamish, England will win. But I have a soft spot for Samoa, so I'm backing them. And also, I'm just concerned the injury. I will see him miss the next game, says Kerr. Now, nicely taken by Courtney Laws, looking for this rolling maul. This time, Samoa defending it a lot better, although now England start to go forward just that little bit more. Jamie George still has that ball available. Samoa have to be very careful not to give away the penalty here, but it looks like this one has gone to ground. If the ball doesn't come out, the Samoans do get the scrum. Brilliant defence in that rolling maul. Manager of Samoa to pull it off, says Yetta. And also come on England, says Gianpaolo, and also South Africa or Ireland, but defo Wales, says Taffy. And Ireland will walk the World Cup, says Yetta. Although I did see yesterday you predicted Italy to win by 50 points. So I feel like I don't know whether or not you're being serious or not, Yetta. Or maybe you are saying it as a joke. Ooh, controversy. And all good bystander, serious profit if England wins. And also too far, they will fly home, says Kerr. And also go Samoa, says Grant. This will be a draw, 17 all, says Fit with ease. Now Samoa. That ball into touch with Lima Sopawanga, and it does go out around the halfway line. about 48 metres from the English line. If Samoa can score themselves the first points in this game, that'll be the main thing. If they do concede the first try, which to be fair to England, they did go for the corner rather than the 3 points, you wonder whether or not that is something that they'd normally not do. And it's more of the case if they thought that it would be easier to score than it was. Now Samoa have got the chance of countering with an attack of their own. Jonathan Tamatini going across to Famai. Now Soponga puts the up and under down. Oh, Freddie Stewart, nicely taken by him. And Theo McFarlane has done well not to take him out in the air. Samoa to score first, says Stone Cold. As an Englishman, I absolutely love and fully expect everyone to support our opposition. It is fine and play with bash in Samoa, says Nazi Williams. Stolen though by the Samoans. Nigel Awong. It was a loose ball from England, although given straight back. Now Jamie George charging down the wing. Goes for the kick and behind the big man. Although Samoa, they do have 2 men back covering, including Narea Famai, who now kicks it into the air and does put it into touch. This game, there's a bit of counter-attacking going on between the two teams. Perhaps that will be when we see the first try scored, when the opposition look like they're on the verge. And then from there, tell you what, that was brilliant work from Tamatine, though, ripping the ball off Ollie Chisholm. And almost 37,000 subscribers. Please, everyone, thanks a billion in advance. Cheers, Grant. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently getting extremely close as my phone is frozen and is not working, unfortunately. My phone, I think, is the next thing I'm going to have to get for myself. Because it is, yeah, nah, she's not working. The volume works on it, but the screen does not. It's just stuck. We're now going off to the left-hand side, space for the English. Manu Tuolangi, he's got Chisholm with him, and he's gonna score the first try. I was gonna say him as well, but I went to a loose forward because I felt like a lock would be not the right choice. But Ollie Chisholm scores the try for the English. Luatua is half the player he was, says Mr. Kiwi for life. Yeah, he hasn't really had the best Rugby World Cup at this stage, unfortunately, but Ollie Chisholm down the wing scores the first try for the English. It was a backline movement, rushing up, and our phone could be a good curve package. I mean, but the iPhones cost like a couple grand, Kerr. Like that wouldn't just be a Kerr package. What would be the next thing up from a Kerr package? Samsung or iPhone average. I am an iPhone boy, mainly because I have an iPad as well, so it just kind of works together. My Kiwi friend pronounces my name exactly like you do, says Ronald. And also we have got there a bad word from Nazi Williams. But yeah, unfortunately for Samoa, the counter-attack, it almost worked for them, but then the gap opened up. A Tuolangi trader, lol JK, says the new age. Now Farrell will be lining up the kicks for this game rather than George Ford. That's a bit of a surprise because I would have thought if you weren't having George Ford kicking, they might have gone with someone else. And who scored it was Ollie Chisholm, which is very annoying because I was going to say him as my first try scorer. I don't know if I said his name and then switched to the loose forward trio, but could have had it. And also Welsh happy with 19 points. Group winners, says Alan, sorry. And also Yuck England, says David Richards. But yeah, just good backline movement there from the English. Going off to the left-hand side. The rush defence there from Danny Tuwala meant that the gap opened up on the outside. Use a Google Pixel, mate. Waiting on the 8 Pro. A great camera, better than an iPhone. Who do you think has been the best player at the Rugby World Cup so far? Oh. Depends on the team a little bit. Like, certain teams have had these standout players. If I had to pick an English player who's been the best. Oh, Samoan penalty, though. 25 metres out from the line. Yeah, for England, I'd probably go with... Ben Earl's been pretty solid overall. But in that back line, Tuolangi hasn't looked too shabby, although he hasn't scored a huge amount of tries either. Like, George Ford's been solid. I think the good news for England at the moment is they don't have one individual player who's really stepped up, other than some would say Arundel, and then the rest haven't been playing poorly. Everyone's been on that level of being at least a 7 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 performance. Well, that was rubbish defending, or maybe being too harsh on Samoa because I want England to lose. Says Calmac, and you're welcome, Taffy. Says David there. And also, although England has just scored, can Samoa do a Fiji? Says Stephen. And also... They've got their Samoa needs faster forwards, so they can retain the possession better on the offside. Now that kick is missed from Manu Samoa. It was only from about 25 metres out. So it is slightly unfortunate, but that means that we haven't actually seen a successful kick throughout this match as of yet between the two sides. It's funny, Manu Tuolangi's brother, I was speaking of Samoa to win, and his younger bro set up a try for England, says Nazi Williams. And England don't have any world-class players right now, just fact. They will again in the future, but right now they don't, says Kerr there. England hasn't caught fire yet. Not that they have been bad, but there's definitely more in them, says Yedda. Although Fiji has, or England has just scored, can Samoa do a Fiji? Well, that's the thing. If Samoa aren't able to do a Fiji, Fiji might have to do a Fiji, because those two sides will be meeting in the quarterfinals who missed that conversion. So Lima Sopawanga missed for Samoa, Owen Farrell missed for the English. And George Ford now puts the ball high. The up and under, Samoa clean that one up 20 or in fact 40 metres out from their line with Duncan Paioa. Now going to the short side to Mua Manu, playing at 13. He's in a similar boat, although he has just knocked that ball on. Very similar boat to what we see for Manu Tuolangi, which is both men would prefer to play 12, but have found themselves playing 13 for this contest. Andrew Brace looks like he is going back for some sort of injury here. Looks like Courtney Laws has stayed down with some sort of injury. We got there Manu Samoa, says Derek. We have got there Ben Earl went to a Tunbridge school, very expensive, £50,000 a year, says Chronic. I got to say Ireland playing some beautiful rugby, says Taffy. Yeah, I mean, when people talk about players of the tournament, Bundy Arkey certainly got to be quite up there. I have to agree with Kerr, no outstanding or world-class players in the England squad, says Akaris. A big screen TV next to the horses. Get the gaming chair now over place. Now over place. Phone okay, Hamish. Needs some more subscribers, please, says Robert. Yeah, I feel like that's the thing. For us to buy a new phone would be, I think, quite far in the future. Like, I've got an iPhone 6S at the moment, which I feel like is on the verge of completely stopping working. But the good news about that is it's got a lot of storage, which I do normally need because I have way too many videos and photos and everything on there from the YouTube side of things. Give us a chow, my bro, surely. It doesn't sound as good when I do it, though. Like, I heard Theo McFarlane do it before the match, and I was like, if it sounded like that when I did it, I'd just do it all the time. Middle of the grocery shop, just let one out. But, yeah, sadly, it doesn't sound as good when I say it myself. Ireland is playing magical, says David. And no worries, I think we should all pitch in and get you a new iPhone, says Ron. iPhones are expensive. That's the big thing. Like, they are, like, people would say they're overpriced, but then they also normally last not too badly. So it's like, yeah, it's a tricky one. Only pans, says Kerr. And so hard to accept that Ireland may be the real deal, says Cool Story, bro. Yeah, they are looking to have the longest winning streak in rugby history at international level. And to be able to do that, they would have to beat, theoretically, it would be New Zealand in the quarterfinals. That is if they do get the win over the Scottish later on. And that game is kicking off in only 3 hours' time. Old Sony and the gaffer tape, says Tim Ed. And Wales Island, says David Richards, I should say there. Now scrum feed. England about 42 metres out from the line. And Mitchell puts it in. It's a food channel, FYI, says Kerr. Is it? Do they make good food? I do love watching people make food. Nice short ball from Farrell. Looks slightly flat to Tuolangi. Now, big shot coming in on him by his opposite number, Danny Tawala. England to the short side. Farrell almost reaching out to score the try, but he is in touch. Not quite. I'll reach out. We have got a donation there from Nazi Williams as well. Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. An iPhone piece of cake, Hammy, says Spider-Mick. And Wales Island very Poss, says Alan, and come on Samoa, says Calmac. There was a good run from Tuolangi. Trying to find that next pass. Farrell and Tuolangi could be a midfield combo that the English go with in the future if it goes well here. Samoa, the defence from, it was in the end Duncan Paioa who got back, and he also forced Farrell into a touch alongside it as well. Now 5 metres out from the line, Sama Malolo. Huge amount of pressure on him to get this one right, although, what's happened here? Okay, no, they say it is all right. I thought for a second they were going to say there was some sort of penalty involved. Well done, England. It's Male Profit in the air, says Andre. And I'll run up the street naked if we win, says Taffy. Now Tamatine going across to Summer Malolo. In fact, it's going to be Fritz Lee, the big number 7. Yep, it's Wales this year. We got to do this. Time, yep, says David. Sipawonga gets a good boot to ball. England decide to take it quickly with Marchand across to Freddie Stewart. Nice flat pass off to Johnny May, carving up the middle. 20 metres out the line, and it's an advantage for offside against the Samoans. Now Mitchell goes to the right-hand side. England really trying to push the pace here throughout the first 15 minutes. Maro Itoje has to take that one down round his bootlaces. Manages to hang on to it, and there's a new penalty advantage for offside against Samoa now. Mitchell going off to Courtney Laws. Alice Genge breaks through Michael Alatoa's tackle attempt. Earl in behind George Ford. Little chip in behind. It's sitting up for Jonathan Tamatine. And the referee will go back for the original penalty. You might consider Samsung S23 Ultra. Also, the folding one may be of interest to you. I have an S20. It works just as well as 3.5 years ago. Or whatever you spoil for choice, says Stephen in there. I mean, the good news theoretically is I've still got a while to decide on the phone. And as long as that one doesn't completely die, hopefully I will be able to get one when that one stops working. I love England, says Josh. And also we have got they smashed them Samoa, says David Richards. And also we have got there Bring Mataval on, Sapawanga off. Look injured still, says the New Age, and I love England. And despite the show breakdown saying negative things about South Africa, I still say go the All Blacks. Says cool story, bro. They are just showing this one again, whether or not there's possibly a bit of foul play involved. There, McFarlane just slipping. Big shot from Summer Malolo, though, to tie up the legs of Johnny May. That's it. And also over there, Tom Jones country, says Taffy, and through the hoop. England will be lining up the 3 points now. They weren't able to get that first kick over. But with this one, it would give them an 8-point lead. As Farrell looks to line it up. Let's go Samoa with the 10 out of 10 from Andre. Farrell, this one only 17 metres out. We did see Sopawonga miss one from about 22 metres out from the try line. Our iPhone 15 Pro Titanium Edition is 2,100 New Zealand dollars. I didn't even know the iPhone 15 had come out. To be honest, I didn't know what one they were up to. Is that titanium? What does titanium edition get you here in a phone? I'd assume it would come with decent storage just because as those phones get bigger, they seem to need more storage for their cameras. And good morning, Brother Hamish. Salute you for the Mahi Uso. Sure, it's not funky from a recent update, your phone. No, I haven't updated it for ages because I know that if I try and update it to the newest, it will completely stop working. But yeah, the screen's all glitched as well. Like it's got a big line down the middle of it. It's looking a bit rough, but it's surviving. That's the main thing. Now 8 points to 0 after that kick from Farrell is successful. A 3 million Welshies going nuts. With 10.3 million sheep joining in. Says Taffy, I get the blood boiling, Samoa, go boys. And that's the thing, throughout the early stages of this match, we've seen some decent moments from Samoa, but they still feel like they haven't found that next gear that they need to here. England scoring themselves that early try of Ollie Chisholm. That's loose ball. Nicely picked up, I believe. Oh, it's been put down by Tamua Manu once more. I bring some speed in with the sevens, says the New Age. I went to the supermarket, no mango juice and no mango cheesecake, says Yvonne. Tell you what, that is what I call an unsuccessful trip to the grocery shop. If you can't find a mango, was there dried mango or did you not see any? Dried mango is not the same though, is it? I vote England in rugby and Sri Lanka in the cricket, says Josh. And also Samoa pushing the Tongans would have made a better opposition. Samoa Pish. The Tongans would have made better opposition, says Cal Mack, although Samoa have certainly proven in the past that they are well and truly up for the task. They almost were able to end that Irish winning streak, missing out by 4 points. My 7 cost me $40. I never buy the latest model of phone, says Go Travel Planet. And that's a high all good start from the English Are those Samoa putting up a fight? I think England will win this 20 plus if Samoa keeps making the silly errors. And rant over Sissy Fon, but now another penalty against Michael Alatoa. Not too happy about it as well. That is about the second or third time he has already been penalised. What have I missed from the game? So Ollie Chisholm was the first man to score the try. England have just booted that one downfield off the free kick. Now up and under. Freddie Stewart safe as houses. Underneath that one, tackled by Narea Famai. Now across to the left-hand side. Owen Farrell looking for the kick in behind, trying to get a little bit more territory going in England's favour. Sopawonga has to clean it up from inside of the 22. And as I Sir Wine says, Blues Nate. Now kicked him behind from England. They won't mind this territory game. Let's not talk about cricket. England got thrashed. Says Jaden. Yeah, not the start to the Cricket World Cup that England would have been after. Although the thing is, I still feel like they're a good enough side to be able to get through to the next stage. It's just, yeah, that net run rate's going to hurt them, I think, in the long run. And maybe we can get the score in the next game, says Dylan. And also your phone is probably one drop away from a permanent knockout. Well, that's the thing. The last time that I dropped it, I dropped it onto my foot and cushioned it, and it's still it didn't crack the screen, but it got that glitch that I talked about, how I had the line down it. And I feel like people throw their phones at the wall and they don't break. But mine, I cushioned it and it still broke. But that's going to be an awkward bounce there. I think it was a knock on from Alex Mitchell on the halfway line. Now Samoa looking for the counter ruck, and the ball is available. Elena Usi trying to run straight at Maratoje. Another drop ball. Theo McFarlane goes back to Tamatene. It's loose at the moment from the Samoans as they look to find some sort of structure in their backline. Stephen Luatua now finds a pass over the up top to Tamua Manu. Fritzley look for the quick hands. It wasn't quite able to find it the way that they wanted. Tamua Manu. Now moving to 35 metres out from the try line. Rush defence on Michael Alatoa. It doesn't work. Theo McFarlane finds the offload to Elena Usi. Now Duncan Paioa stepping on the inside. Looking for that next offload up. Gets it to McFarlane. And Samoa at the moment, they do not want to go to ground. They want to keep this ball alive as long as physically possible. Sama Malolo now. 22 metres out. I might get a Red Magic 8S Bumblebee edition. It looks like a good work phone, says Kerr there as well. Oh, lovely quick hands. Out wide for Samoa. And Nigel Wong scores the try for Manu Samoa, their first of the match, and they are now back in it. That'll do very nicely for the Samoans. That was just consistent phase play. We have got there, the voice don't mean when the Warriors clash. And also imagine a 20 to 41 win for Scotland with no collision. And both teams play the best of their abilities. Crazy, says Bystander. Another go Samoa, says Timmy, and come on, says Daffy, and come on, try Samoa. And that is a brilliant bit of work, though, from Nigel Wong. He's only a couple metres out from the line. And if the All Blacks win against Ireland, unless it's the box of Scotland, 5 million people and 60 million sheep will jointly bar hooray to the loser Samoa scores, says Stephen. Also, the Hamish emojis from Dylan there. So that's the actual iPhone 8S, isn't it, Kerr? Rather than the, that's not a newer phone, is it? That's the older one. 8? I feel like the 8's got good praise, didn't they? Are they the last one with the headphone jack? Go Samoa, came on here to listen to you commentate on the rugby, not the phone, says Chapner's Tribe. And also that was a cracker, says Jimbo. Yeah, very good backline movement from the Samoas in repeated phases. Allowed them to apply pressure to the English. Now lining up this kick is Lima Sopawanga. And that one is snuck over. That'll make the score now 8 points to 7 in favour of the English. Still now, earlier on it was mentioned that Samoa would need to win this game by 29 points. And there would have to be a draw in the other contest in the Rugby World Cup between Japan and Argentina for Samoa to have any chance of going through to the quarterfinals. Now, I have to say that is an unlikeliness of occurring, but Samoa, if they win this game, they will automatically qualify for the next Rugby World Cup if Japan or Argentina get themselves that victory. In construction, a good flip phone will do, says Robert. How about reconditioned phones, says Gus. I mean, they are probably an option. Refurbished, aren't they? George Ford looks like he's got the tan line where his sleeves normally are, but he has kicked that one off long. And now Samoa. Massive boot on that ball, but Didn't quite get the distance he was after. Still be down towards the halfway line. And also we've got the misflip phones. Says Gareth. And nearly missed Nell. The pressure. And also nearly missed what? Sorry. At least smartphone in the truck. Says Robert. And back in the Pacific Brothers, let's go, says Jaden. Now, it's a knock-on from England. We can see here that if you apply a little bit of pressure to this English side, that is when the mistakes start to come. And we probably haven't seen enough pressure being shown by opposition up against the English, but the English, I'm sure they will be enjoying this. What's up, brother? Says Noel Maxwell. Welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing extremely well. Hope you have been enjoying this Rugby World Cup. New Zealand through to the quarterfinals. Should be pretty epic one next week. Up to SARS, says Squidly. Hello, Hamish, long time no see. Good to see that you're alive and well watching the Georgia-Wales game. Georgia played really well, says La Chica. Yeah, I feel like Wales, near the end of that game, once again, they found their momentum. They will be going head-to-head with either Japan or Argentina in their next game. So I feel like every quarterfinal at the moment, the way that it's setting up has got some big meaning behind it. England, they could find themselves up against the Fijians. Did manage to beat them in the Rugby World Cup warm-up games. Samoa Manu now lurking on the outside. Naria Famai tackled well by Owen Farrell. Now Tamatine through the legs. Fritz Lee gets it out wide to Nigel Wong once more. Danny Tawala having to clean that ball up for the Samoans. Rush defence there from Tom Curry going for the cross kick. It's looping over the top to Theo McFarlane with the big fend on George Ford. Finds his offload as well to Sama Malolo, who now charges forward 10 metres out from the try line. In fact, he's almost gone over, but Freddie Stewart strips the ball away and it will be the knock on. No, in fact, it's been taken back by the English, and Samoa now have got themselves a scrum 5 metres out from the try line. Can't pinpoint the issue with England. It's just a general lacking. They don't seem able to click and gel together, says Kerr there. And these upcoming games will be tougher, says La Chica. And there is go Samoa, go lads, says David Richards. But it was a great cross kick straight into the hands of Theo McFarlane, who lured in 3 defenders, which is why when he found his offload, that was where the momentum still was flying for the Samoans. And then England, they did all the hard work of ripping that ball away, but because it was ripped and then it went back into the own goal area, it means that it is a 5 metre scrum. Hi Hamish, I'm back for the best live commentary on the planet, says Michael. We do appreciate you being back, mate. Anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are hoping to get to 37,000 by the end of this live stream. And we are getting extremely close. That bloke is a steamroller, says Wordle. And yes, Samoa, come on, says Cool Story Bro. So far we've seen 6 offloads from the Samoans in the first 26 minutes, and the difference here between the two sides is Samoa do not want to go to the breakdown. England are looking to be a little bit more, I guess you could call it more structured in terms of the way that they are recycling it through their breakdown, but Samoa are saying we need to keep this ball alive because we don't want to allow England the chance to get those turnovers. Not good for the game, don't get me wrong. I wish Scotland would beat them every time, but because Scotland have improved, not because England are bad, says Kerr. And also I have a Ericsson flip phone with Tetris. Best time of my life that period, says Kill Story Bro. And Manu means bird, says Stephen. In there as well. Now 14 minutes remaining in this first half. It has been flying by, but still only split by 1 point for these two sides. Tamatine now to put the ball in. Michael Alatoi's been heavily penalised throughout this World Cup match so far. Tamatine has the ball slapped out of his hands by Alex Mitchell. Now knocked backwards by Naria Famai, but it's cleaned up by Samoa, 22 metres out from the try line now. Are you being sensible, my friend? Says Kalmac. And also, we have got there 738 viewers and only 100 likes. Sub and like, says a bystander. Now, new advantage coming for Samoa, so this would give them the lead in this contest, although the ball is still available. Tamatine fall into his back, and they will go back now for the original penalty. If the Samoan, if he's at smart, they will sub and speed at forwards when their first guys are tired, and it will change the game. And Ireland versus South Africa final. Ireland wish again, says Orlin. There we go. Samoa kicking for the corner now, ladies and gentlemen. They feel like they've built this momentum up and they're going to try and roll with it. And that's fair play from this far out. We have got there, Hemi, what does Yankee ignorance, you garlic or don't you know? What wicked, yep, we weave. No, that's gone straight over my head, Wordle, I'll be honest. Are you going to buy a new phone? In the future, when I do have enough money to get a decent one, because that's the thing, I want to make sure that if I get one, that's going to last for a few years at least. So yeah, maybe like before Christmas if I'm lucky. Now Tamatine back across now to Danny Tawala with the cross kick. It's taken all. Nigel Wong almost forgot to put that ball down. He was celebrating. Did he score it though? They have to check this one to see whether or not he's run dead. He did all the hard work of catching it and then kept on running and then almost walked dead. But I believe he's just in the field of play. Hamish is a Gaelic Scotty somewhere along the line, says Gareth. And the TMO says Novmum. This will be a big shame for Nigel Wong if he hasn't put that ball down in time. If I was a moderator, other confusing message would be a timeout, says Kurt. And I hope he didn't step over the dead ball line. It's going to be extremely close, that is for sure. Okay, they're going to show exactly when the ball is grounded versus the foot. And also, why didn't we play like this against Argentina, says Big Coconut. And also, if that's good, wow, says the no idea. Brilliant kick across field from Danny Tawala. I read it 3 times, says Gareth. And Samoa go in South Africa Island final. South Africa to win hands down, says Andre. And I hope it's a try, says Brian. Here we go. Frame by, oh. The foot is still in the air as the ball is put down. Then from there, the ball touches the line after he's put it down. So it will remain as a try, ladies and gentlemen, just in the field of play. Okay, the ball is down first. Frame later, they do have the ball or the foot touching the line. So it is a try for the Samoans. And they are now going to be sitting 12 points to 8 up. I think that was another message about Arnold. Says Kerr. What a try. That's not a try, foot on the line out, says Scott, although they looked at it frame by frame and he got it down just before, and then those 1 or 2 frames later is when that foot did touch the line. But they looked at it in slow-mo, and it is a try for Nigel Wong now, his second of the contest, and the Samoans take the lead. Manu Samoa finished the campaign as style, says Lamanu and goddamn line, who moved it, says Blues Nate. England, 2 million rugby players, says Michael and Samoa, let's go. Says Andre there, and get in Samoa, says bystander. Now Lema Sopawanga to line up this one. And he has struck that one a bit better than the last, and it has gone over. Now 8 points to 14. The guy who almost missed, Anil, says Gareth. It would be embarrassment of England if they lose, says Brian. Although we should mention, no matter what happens in this game in terms of the result, England will still be finishing top of their group. They'll be taking on either Fiji or Australia in the Rugby World Cup quarter-finals. And we've got their tackle well by Owen. Unusual, says Jane. Yeah, it felt weird to say that sentence, to be honest. Farrell. Oh, a nice tackle. Tamatene looking for the touchline. Doesn't get a huge amount of distance. So England now have got yet again another counter-attack. Vaughn, did you see my comment on Amish's Island vs South Africa review? Says Gareth. And also brilliant try Samoa. This is the first game they've attacked successfully and clinically without errors. Says Robinson. I don't know how you comment and read messages and you pronounce the name so well. From Gail there, this one's not straight from England for their line out. And this will be another scrum feed now for Samoa. Tom Curry can't quite believe it, but the momentum. I've said that word a lot throughout this game, but of course rugby is a game of momentum. The kick has not found touch though from Samoa. A mistake has been made. They were looking for the 50-22, not quite able to get it. Mate, is it possible for Samoa to go through? They would have to win this game by 29 points and also the draw would have to take place between Argentina and Japan. But if Samoa win this game, they automatically qualify for the next Rugby World Cup competition. So that is the big one on the cards here for Samoa, making sure they automatically qualify rather than having to go through the qualification process. Now going to the front there for Samoa. Jonathan Tamatine, cross now to Tuala, to Mua Manu, offloaded from Supawanga, to Nerea Whamai, out to Nigel Wong, who has done the little grubber. Now up to the 22 now for England. Joe Marchant has to regather. I hope it's gone, says Big Coconut. 29 points. And it would be embarrassing for England to lose, or why risk injury, says Jean. And there, and do we think this game is fixed, says Kerr. Go Samoa, your Pacifica brothers are all behind you, says Sam. Now rolling this ball back, Alex Mitchell. That's gone straight up for that kick. He's tried to jump up for his own kick. Gonna be slapped back by England. Duncan Paiua may have just scored in the corner. Of course, they will have to chat it once or check it once again. But Duncan Paiua may have just scored the third try of the match for the Samoans. When will Springboks play again, please? Says Gale. So the more likely game for the Springboks will be 9 p.m. Sunday next week. The try stands, and Samoa now have themselves a 19-8 lead over the English. 20 years ago, hang on, now they're talking about the TMO, but I think the referee already just gave a try for who it is, a try for Samoa and Duncan Paiua. They are just checking that to see, or was it knocked on from Tamua Manu? Don't think they are going to be checking this one, though. I think they're saying Freddie Stewart was the one who got his hands to it. And also Yapi says a wise one. And try for the Samoan. And they're in Tame the Lion also, says Sam. Now, I should mention that Samoa came in as $8.50 underdogs in this contest. Now, at the way that it sits, the Samoans are $2.25 underdogs. So they have completely changed the layout of this game. Boxing, says Yvonne. Also, we have got there, where does all this BS of fixing come of this? It's not cricket, says Ron. And also we have got the I'm in heaven, says Cal Samoa scores again. Yes, Samoa, come on. And also who take out the game between Wales and Georgia. So Wales were able to get themselves the victory, so they will finish first in their group. And Samoa could have tapped or topped their pool if they played like this from the start, says Robinson. Yeah, because at the same time of going, like, this is great for Samoa, the way that they are taking it to England in this game. But then you also think about those mistakes that now they're going to check it anyway, just to see whether or not there was a knock-on after allowing Lima Supawanga to already go for that kick. They are just checking their hands there. TMO having a bit of a look. And go Samoa, show them English how to play. And also Samoa got some good experience in the Irish friendly game. And they awarded the try, and now they're taking it back. This is rubbish, says Cited. Yeah, Andrew Brace gave it as a try. But now they're going back, and yeah, it does hit Tamua Manu's hand. So that's going to be a knock-on, and I believe this is going to become a no-try now for the Samoans. Now, the thing is, yes, it's hit Tamua Manu's hand, but I would have loved to see them do that before allowing the kick, before awarding the try. It would have made more sense to look at that rather than letting them take on the kick and everything along those lines. The crowd are booing about it as well. They are not happy, but this is the type of decision that they need to make sure they're making from the get-go rather than taking back tries. And to join in on the chat, Kiwi, I'm glad you're doing well, champ, says Oreno, and can't take it after the conversion, says Criseo, although they did actually change that rule recently that says they are allowed to check it after a conversion. So it is going to be a no try for the Samoans, and they are going to go back now for... So that's going to cause controversy. Did the ref refer to the TMO? Says Gareth, no, the TMO took it upon himself because Andrew Brace awarded it. He said, yep, try stands, and then the TMO, after the kick was taken, was like, hey, Andrew, I need you to look at this again. I want to be your score, says Michael, and this is embarrassing, says Kwasi. Yeah, it's not the right call at all. Although Samoa, they did have penalty advantage, so they are now going to be 5 metres out from the line with another chance to go at it. But you can take a try away, says Michael. And also we have got there, now it needs to be consistent, says Audio. And dubious and inconsistent refereeing, something must be done, says Eugene. And also make a decision only to reverse it, not the right way, says Stephen there. Now it's thrown in, taken by Theo McFarland, offloaded back to Sama Malolo. Now Samoa, they're ahead by 6 at the moment. Now Tamatine to the short side, flicked off to Nigel Wong. Now they're going to have to check this to see if he's in touch. We'll be going to the TMO once more, but Nigel Wong thinks that he's got it here. Oh, his foot is in touch, they've just said by the sounds of it. The foot is in touch, and it is going to be no try. The TMO is looking at it once more. Nigel Wong, not a lot of space to work with. Alex Mitchell tries to make the tackle. Foot is on the line there, so it will be no try. Are you streaming the Ireland-Scotland game going to be a cracker, says Reno? We certainly are. Throwing it over the top there. Tom Curry hit in the air. He did jump for it, says Andrew Brace. Now, that is a good bit of refereeing because sometimes we have seen times where those are given as a penalty when the man when the man jumps into it. Amish, the way you drank that water makes me think he had a big night out, says Cameron Day. No, only sleeping during the day and then streaming during the night. No try again, says Brian. And also try, it's a effing try. Says Calmick, it's quite unbelievable how bad the rest have become. Very few games were officiated well in this World Cup, and come on Samoa, get wild, says David there. Now kicked into touch. Good exit from their own 22 for the English with 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Oh, there's a rugby game on, says Tim. Also, we have good the support Brits. But I want the game to be fair. Both sides come on ref, and Aitalofa says True Samoa and NZ, welcome in. His scoreboard not updated. Says Kawasi, that is because the score was disallowed. So it did get taken back. And England paying good money. Says Yeda, that's going to be not straight this time from the Samoans with Sama Malolo. And I had a dream. I had a night out. Says good story, bro. And also Samoa is England plus TMO plus ref. Says Motu. Has Samoa ever beaten England? I don't believe, maybe back in the day, but I know not recently anyway. I usually sacrificed his nightlife for his great commentary, says Bystander. There are no Brits, just English, says Cal Mack, and also England better avoid this embarrassment, says Notakaza, and come on Samoa, says Sino T. Do you see South Africa not going through? Nah, they're pretty safe, I'd say. Like, if Ireland were to concede, theoretically they have to concede 41 points, and they haven't even been close to conceding that over the last 16 games. So, yeah, I don't see it happening. I feel like the Irish defence at the moment has been too strong to be in that position of conceding so many points. Scotland's attack is looking very good at the moment, but don't get me wrong, I can see Samoa getting themselves a possible victory, but I don't see South Africa as the side who would miss out if the Scottish do win that game. There was no try last Tuesday. Says go Travel Planet, and also bring in some Sevens players. We'll give them the boost. Of course, the Sevens just around the corner. So Motu Opitai, Tuna Tuitama, another brilliant player from the Sevens circuit. Now kicking this one into the touchline. Has found touch about 15 metres out. We have got there, as well, what do you mean embarrassment? England's best players are Samoans. The Walangi brothers. Says Hayden. And Samoa facing on English team, the ref, and a TMO. Says Calmack and penalty Samoa. In fact, it's 22 metres out. My apologies. Thought it was a little bit closer. Now thrown over the top. Nicely cleaned up there by Danny Tuwala. 15 metres from the English try line with 2.5 minutes remaining. They do still have a 6-point lead here, Samoa, but it would certainly help them more if they are able to extend that lead before the end of the half. Stephen Luator with the nice carry forward. Sama Malolo does go around the side of the breakdown. 5 metres out from the line now. Lima Sopawanga across to Michael Alaratoa. I have a bit of a feeling that they may look at that Sama Malolo carry, though, if there is a try, and they may end up saying that he was a part of the breakdown, so he wasn't able to pick that ball up. That is just a little observation off the start. But now Sopawanga, drop ball there. They say it's gone backwards, so it will be play on. Around the side, Tamua Manu. And only 6, or in fact less than 6 metres out, and England win themselves the penalty. We We have got there, Hamish. Do you think rugby league format will get more recognised in other countries in the future? Maybe a little bit. I know that there's some international games of rugby league coming up in the near future. We have got there as well, England going to get a father baiting in this. If they don't wake up, go Samoa, says Dennis, and come on Samoa, try before halftime, says Brian there, and Samoa applying great pressure. And FS Samoa, says Ethan. And also, the ref blew the whistle way too quick, corrupt, says the New Age, I'm sick of the officiating in this World Cup. And Ethan has also just put penis, is what he's put. That's very creative of you, Ethan. And also, Manu Samoa, yep, says David, and bloody hell, predictive text, says cited. Samoa throwing the game away, although they do still have a 6-point lead. Only 45 seconds remaining in this first half. Trying to keep that ball available. And also Samoa for the win. Come on, boys, says Smoking. RSA every day. And lol, says Taffy. Now Mitchell into the Samoan half. Well taken under the high ball from Nigel Awong. Another penalty this time. Tom Curry wins it. But they're not releasing. Going against the Samoans. Rugby Union is unique in ball sports because it's both skill and power aspects. Says Burning Lash. If Samoa get one more try, England could be in trouble. Says Brian. And also, this is bad. Says Anthony Bird. And Hamish, what's your verdict for the Ireland-Scotland game? I believe my prediction that I did before the Rugby World Cup started was 27 points to 19 in favour of the Irish. And I feel like that's probably not a mile off, to be honest, in that game. I think it's going to be relatively close. We have got there our thoughts and prayers with Stade de France bar staff this evening. The Scots and Irish fans are making their way there, says Sean Lees. Sounds like you've got a tricky scenario there, Blade. Hopefully the smell does go away relatively soon. And Fiji is going to break my heart, isn't it? Says Chronic. They do need 1 point up against the Portuguese. We will be covering that game on the channel tomorrow, but currently halftime here. Jamie George starting to roll there a little bit further forward. Sacked by Sama Malolo. Now 4. Drop ball by Farrell. And that will now be the end of the first half. The Samoans leading it at halftime. Sitting 14 points to 8. Looks like Lema Sopawonga actually having a bit of a chat there with Owen Farrell. Almost a bit of push and shove. Looking like it was going to be taking place. And Samoa is going to win, says King. And let's go Samoa, beat the English team. You're all over the English up to halftime, says Alan Brown. And looking through at some of the stats for this first half, I'm sure we'll see quite a bit of information in terms of how this game has progressed. The most tackles have been made by Ben Earl, made 8 throughout the Rugby World Cup. We have got there, have you made your prediction of the winners for the World Cup, Hamish? Says Reno, I certainly have. We actually did a video right before the World Cup where we predicted every single game. And at the moment, it looks like I'm going to have all quarterfinalists correct with who they are playing in their next contest. So, that is exciting. Manu Tuolangi, most running metres throughout that half, 59. 10 points for Nigel Awong, who was able to score himself 2 tries throughout that first half. But 60% territory for the Samoans and then 51% possession. So, just slightly edging it near the end of that first half. Very exciting commentary, mate, says Tar. Thank you very much. And also, we get there, Samoa, says Callamack, and also no one like England. And awesome commentary, fella, fair play, says Taffy. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 37. And we are hopeful to hit it by the end of this live stream. So if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently 22 away from 36,900. So let's see if we can get there by the end of halftime. Fiji, Samoa, or New Zealand in that order. At the first team lose. It's next up, says the New Age. And also, love your commentary, Hamish, says Smoking RSA every day. Thank you very much, mate. And come on, Samoa, beat the ref as well, says Sam. But so far in this game, 222 metres carried by the Samoans compared to the 194 carried by the English. 10 defenders beaten by Samoa, 11 by the English in this game. We have got there, let's talk about the ref best so far, says that Fijian guy. And also we have got Let's Go Scotland. Tonight, play with pride. Come on, boys. And I should mention that game is only 2 hours, 20 minutes away, so not too far at all from that one taking place. Hamish is brilliant at commentary, says David Richards. Thank you very much. Hamish, who do you want to win this game? Don't say you're neutral, says Sino. Well, it's one of those scenarios that winning this game has a lot more in it for Samoa than it does for England, if that makes sense. But then saying that, England want to be able to build up that momentum as they make their way through this Rugby World Cup competition. So it's a tricky one to decide. I mean, Samoa, if they win it, they get automatic qualification for the next Rugby World Cup. So I'm sure that is something they'll be looking at and hoping to get their 2 World Cups on the go. At the same time, it's extremely stressful. Great commentary, says Jeremy Rogers. And also Hamish. Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Halftime already, got distracted by Kiwi Lads commentary. Says Blues Nate. Yeah, that half absolutely flew by. What nationality is the ref? He is Irish, Andrew Brace, but I don't think it's so much his decision-making in that first half that was being questioned. I think it was probably the TMO, which in this case is Brian McNeese, who is also Irish. But, like, Andrew Brace had given that try, and then it was the TMO who then intervened and said, hey, I think we need to look at that again. Great comms do better than the TV comms, in my opinion, says Scorpio. Thank you very much, mate. And also, Stuff Rugby, we want GTA 6. Kiwi Lads will be in Oz for the Rugby World Cup 2027. That would be pretty awesome if we were able to make the trip. Do you think Australia will qualify for 2027? Well, the benefit they have is because they're hosting, they get automatic qualification. And it's probably come at a good time for Australian rugby, to be honest. But, yeah, they will be there at their own World Cup. Should be very intriguing one. Your commentary has been a welcome distraction to my day. I also needed some sleep. G'day, mate. Says Chronic Underachiever. Well, it is absolutely awesome to have you here. Hopefully, you do manage to get that sleep that you're after at some stage throughout the night or the day, depending on whereabouts you are. I should mention we've got another game just around the corner, which is going to be Ireland taking on Scotland. Now, after this game is finished, ladies and gentlemen, we only have 12 games remaining in this Rugby World Cup competition. Ireland versus Scotland, once that's finished, there's only 11, and then by the end of tomorrow, there are only 8 more matches that will be taking place. We saw 43 tackles made by Samoa in that first half, missing 11, 55 tackles made by England, missing the 9, and 5 penalties against both of the sides. So actually relatively even, but with Samoa having the edge in terms of those running meters made, also the edge in territory and possession. We have got there, I'm indifferent, however, it'll be nice to see Scotland pull it off against Ireland, says Nicholas. And also Sam, believe. You've got the goods also, says Sam there. I think the Rugby World Cup might bypass that rule for the sake of entertainment, says Kerr. And also go Samoa, England stink, frankly, and it's just pure fluke. And they head up their group, says Robin. And also Samoa playing well. Do you think they can go on with it? Well, at the moment, we haven't seen many signs of Samoa slowing down from that first half effort. And, I'll be honest, I feel like England, if they can fight back from here, it will certainly be something that they will be proud of because they've been put up against it in this contest. Ollie Chisholm scoring the lone try for the English so far in this game. That was actually in the 8th minute that they were able to score. But then from there, the momentum went heavily in favour of the Samoans. Now, Nigel Wong has already been able to score himself 2 tries throughout this contest. Apparently, Beckham brought out a documentary. Will take a gander at some point? My mum was actually talking to me about it the other day. She said that she was watching it and quite enjoying it. We have got there, you're dreaming. England manhandled last World Cup, says Chuck T. And England lost, says King. And also going to have some Welsh rarebit while I'm waiting in a pint. And would the mighty All Blacks go down to the men in green? Ireland, mean green machine, says Yoshi Boy. I think it's going to be a great contest between the two sides. And I mentioned about it, something that Ireland have got in their favour is the fact they've gone with a consistent lineup each and every week. New Zealand making about 9 changes for each of their games. So if New Zealand can get the selection right, I can see it being a really good game right down to the wire. But in terms of just in general, you would probably still say that the Irish have that little bit of an edge until, of course, you look at what has happened in recent Rugby World Cup games for the Irish. But if there was ever a side to go far, I believe it is this team that they've got together now. If all the ref doesn't pull their job together, this World Cup is a farce. Says, it was Spider-Mick, and I said from the start, Samoa players capable of reaching the semis. They haven't performed until today, says Robinson. And also we have good there. Good morning, Kiwi Lad. I lost my rugby taste. I prefer watching cricket too much. Interference from the TMO, says James Talangi. So have you been enjoying the Cricket World Cup, James? So it has started up. Why isn't South Korea in the Rugby World Cup? They're the best. Well, they did lose their qualification game. I believe it was to Hong Kong, who then ended up losing their match to someone as well. I think Hong Kong lost to Tonga in the 2-match series. So that is why South Korea missed out. But they were in a little bit of a group stage with Hong Kong, as well as there was another team in there. Maybe Malaysia was the other team that was in that qualification group. But yeah, they missed out in the end. We have got the hours and not a try from Samoa, says Robin. I assume you're talking about the one that was ruled back after the kick was taken. Like, there was the knock on there, but the way that they went about it was wrong. They should have looked at that before awarding the try, because the referee at that stage had said, yes, it is going to be the try. And then the TMO afterwards went, actually, maybe we switched that. Hi, all from Johannesburg, off the wall, excited to see Scotland show us what we're all waiting for. Watching in an Irish pub, going to be epic, says Red Hell. Have to be honest, New Zealand have been ridiculously on form in all their pool matches, says Reno. Yeah, I think that first game up against France was certainly a wake-up call, saying they cannot take any game in the Rugby World Cup lightly. I'll get the I'm from England, but England really sucks, says King. And also Taffy and Sweetie hide in the hills. When big men come, only the English have the bollocks to repel, says Wordle. And let's go Kiwi Lads viewers, even if you're watching incognito, welcome in, says Blues Nate. And who would have thunk it? They're actually going to have to play this match, see who's going to win, says Igor. And also Ireland and Scotland took a load for Bok elimination, says John. I don't see it happening. I mentioned about it earlier on. We'll probably mention about it in the build-up of that one. But I've heard the people who are saying that there's going to be that side of things happening are the same ones who were saying that South Africa lost to Ireland on purpose, so they had a different team that they were facing in the quarterfinals. So it's one of those ones that if people are saying that South Africa did it and then they're now saying that Ireland and Scotland did it, like, for one, it's all just false anyway, but like, it can't be, like, you can't have it both ways, you know? You got to either say that every team's doing it in that group, because some people have been saying that, and then, like, yeah, they just wouldn't be right, because there's too much on the line to try and do anything like that. But yeah, we'll be talking about it in the build-up, because I know it will be mentioned quite a bit throughout the build-up of that. Next one, Kiwi watching from California. Thanks for the show, says John. And also, we have got White Rico Ioane playing on the wing hammy. He plays most of his younger days at centre, says Spider-Miko. It's actually the other way around. He played a lot of his younger days in the wide channels rather than in the middle. If Scotland beat Ireland, that would be a massive win for the Scots. And also, I hope Samoa adjust their lineup with speed, particularly at the forwards, and bring Matavao in. He plays hard at the ruck and everywhere. Like the score, TMO normally it's on point, but disallowing that Samoa try was not the correct decision, says Rugby Itch. But yeah, it seemed like the communication between TMO and referee just didn't exist. What's an upset so far? Or what an upset so far, says Stephen. Yeah, if they do end up pulling off the win, Samoa, it would be the biggest underdog win throughout this Rugby World Cup. The second biggest, of course, being Fiji getting the win over Australia for the first time in these 69 years. Speaking of World Cup, South Africa about to beat Sri Lanka in the World Cup, says bystander, for the cricket side of things, and too much on the line for Ireland too. Are not worth them giving the win to Scotland, says Michael. Yeah, when you look at like what could be around the corner for the Irish, like there's a lot that they are about to do historically wise. And Hamish, I heard you're Eddie Jones' son, says Hayden. Well, I mean, I'd say that I don't really look like my dad if that was the case. But yeah, not Eddie Jones' son, which probably isn't a bad thing, is it? I feel like if I was, though, and doing these live streams on YouTube, I would get a lot of stick, wouldn't I? Let's see some likes and subs on the board. People, Kiwi Lads deserve our support, says Red Hell. Yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently only sitting the 17 away from the goal by the end of halftime. So if you do want to help us out, it is greatly appreciated. How's your night or early morning going, buddy? Says Yoshi's been good so far. Watching some good games of rugby is always a plus. Are you Sean Fitzpatrick's son? Says my page. And also, Rassi is a sly old fox, always something up his sleeve, says Scorpio. And not far from you, Reno, in this small island of Qatar. And evening, Hamish, hope you're fit and well. Well, I'm well. I wouldn't say fit, but yeah, I'm doing all right. Hamish, who's your favourite in the World Cup so far, says Reno. I still am of heavy belief that a side on Pool A or Pool B will walk away with the World Cup victory. But then saying that, some of the teams on this Pool D and Pool C side, maybe because they haven't had those massive matchups as of yet. Maybe their big games are just around the corner for them. Hamish, a good Scottish name. You're always welcome here. Says Calmac. And someone make sure the Wallabies have caught their flight back home. Says that Fijian guy. Although Eddie Jones, he said there's still a chance. All they need is for the Portuguese to beat the Fijians comfortably, and then they are still in this Rugby World Cup competition. And someone making you breakfast or bacon and eggs for breakfast. The only one who would be doing it is me if I decide to make it, but I'll probably have some bananas. Or maybe not some bananas, but a banana. And Eddie Jones, that sun parked up now. And did you say that the loser of France versus the ABs would win the World Cup? Says Kerr. I know that at the start of the World Cup, I said that whoever lost that game was still going to be right in the hunt, if that's what you're referring to. But I believe someone on that side of Pool B and Pool A, whether that's France, New Zealand, South Africa, or Ireland, have a very good chance of going far. We have got there, I feel like Australia went to France on a tourist visa, not business, says Kerr. Yeah, just not quite getting it right yet, the Aussies. They took a huge risk going with the youngest side in this Rugby World Cup competition. Time for some beverage before second half, Mr. Commentator. Says fit with ease, but the two sides now making their way back out of the tunnels, getting ready to go for the second 40 minutes. Currently, Samoa still ahead by the 6 points. I believe England will come out firing in the second half, though, as they will not be happy with what they did in that first half. Nigel Awong, 2 tries scored, just under 50 metres carried, and 5 carries for him. Let's see if Samoa keep the pressure on in the second half, says Reno. And if breakfast does not contain bacon and eggs, it's not breakfast, says Calmac. And I says, Sio, welcome in. And Ireland's winning streak will stop right here. They are not that good, says Stull. And I backstabbing England, should I be arrested, says King there. And also, let's go, 20 more likes and 200 to reach the 37k, says Blues. Now, yeah, anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently only 13 away now from 36,900. So if you are one of the 13 people who are watching who are not subscribed, be sure to hit that button. It is down below, completely free to do, and you will get notified when we upload videos, as well as do these streams, which we are doing all throughout the Rugby World Cup. Every single game will be covered, including Scotland versus Ireland just around the corner, 2 hours time from the kickoff of that one, but it is now kicked off for this second half in this matchup, and a big run for from Ben Earl to start the second 40 minutes. Or losing cash, use that as an excuse. It's a young team, and also we have got their bad planning, I say, says fit with ease. Has gone into touch with the clearing kick from England. Would be amazing if Samoa wins. A go Samoa, says Tedipai, and 100% says Daffy in there. And let's go, everyone. And how good is the South American team going at this World Cup except the Pumas, says Yoshi. Although if South Africa win themselves the next game up against Japan, they will qualify for the quarterfinals. And hello, everyone in the house. I hope you will enjoy the rugby match, says Desmond. And smoking, you're kidding. Pack up and return to Sydney. And that TMO is a piece of... says Justin there. Yeah, making a very late decision in that first half. Big shot coming in from Maro Atoje, but it was a knock-on in the process of the tackle. Will remain as just the scrum. Samoa all the way, says my page. And also, we have got there 100% says Taffy, and also we've got some big odds that Samoa will win, says King. And English breakfast beans on toast, says David. And I love, says CO in there. Yeah, it's absolutely awesome to have you guys all here. What time is it in Samoa at the moment, ladies and gentlemen? I believe you guys are either at 6:54 a.m. or 4:40 or 4:54 a.m. I know it's either an hour ahead or behind New Zealand. With hash brown, says Derek. And bacon is my favourite veggie. My favourite breakfast is bacon with bacon strips, garnished with bacon bits and toast, says Igor. And 2 a.m. for me, says Kerr. Yeah, very committed to the rugby craft. Of course, flat ball from Tamua Manu. Going on the outside to Duncan Paioa. Now Manu decides to go with the pick and go himself. Tamatine going to the short side. Not a lot of space to work with here. Running forwards, Danny Tuwala. And with limited space came limited opportunity for Samoa to get in the breakdown. England win themselves another penalty. A nearly 1k watching at that like button for the fella, says Taffy. And because Samoa can Samoa cause an upset and beat England? If so, Samoa then go through to the quarterfinals, says Desmond. So Samoa need to win this game by 29 points. And then the game between Argentina and Japan would have to be a draw for the Samoans to go through. But if Samoa win this game, they get automatic qualification for the Rugby World Cup next competition in 2027. I am Verona here. Says Verona, welcome in, and everyone's behind New Zealand, says G. And if Samoa wins, they're going through to the quarterfinal, only if they win it by 29 points. So they still have a lot to go to get to there, definitely with England now chomping at the bit to score the early try in the second half with Jamie George back of the rolling maul, 22 metres out from the line. Rush defence from Sama Malolo, manages to shut down Alex Mitchell. Now Ben Earl plays halfback, goes to Ellis Genge, tackled by Stephen Luatua. At times those two have been teammates in the Gallagher Premiership. Now Ben Earl again. Mitchell for that ball in the breakdown. Going to the left-hand side now. George Ford goes off to Freddie Stewart. Quick hands from Courtney Lords. Goes off to Johnny May. Trying to skip through a few challenges. He's tackled by Fritz Lee. They say he wasn't held. South Africa versus New Zealand final, says Moke and RSA every day. And also, we have got their next World Cup will be big for the Pacific Islands, given it's in Australia now. Sopawonga, skip pass. The counter-attack for Samoa is on. Duncan Paiaua, tackle well, tries to find the offload, but Courtney Laws gets it there. And it looks like there's some sort of injury here for Duncan Paiaua. Maybe a rib injury or something in the midsection, but he does not look happy. At the moment, Sopawonga's just fallen over his own feet. England, 5 metres out from the line. How in the hell do you know all these player names? It's taken a lot of practice and a lot of research to know all the players out there on the park. Now Alex Mitchell rolling it back. Wanting to go for that ball around the breakdown was Theo McFarland. He's been told no by Andrew Brace. Ball goes into touch just inside of the 22. Now Samoa's still on the attack. And 39-11 for the Samoans, says Seo. And I just can't believe my eyes with that score. Well, says Zand Samoa, we love you, says Calmac. But it's that counter-attack from the Samoans that once more almost leads to that chance of scoring the try. Let's go Samoa, says Just Drive, and Ireland only beat Samoa 17 points to 13. Had an easy win against England. Samoa can do this, says Brian, and Samoa giving me that Fiji feel. Great gameplay from the South Pacific, says Reno. And let's go Samoa, says Just Drive. Samoa doesn't like that earlier try, says Bystander. Yeah, the way that they went about it was wrong. The try, it was an understandable one of why they disallowed it because there was the knock-on, but the fact that they allowed the kick to have taken place first and then the TMO jumped in is what was wrong with the scenario, in my opinion. So other 3 Pacific nations, things remain as they are. 2 will automatically qualify and Tonga won't, basically because of the draw. Will rugby have to do better, says Gus. Although, the way that it sits currently, I believe that the Tongans would still have another chance of qualifying because they will go into the stage of playing the Cook Islands alongside a couple other sides of that kind of Asian region in terms of South Korea, Hong Kong, all those teams. They will all fall into the same boat. So Tonga will still get the chance to qualify in the near future. South Africa won by 102 runs in the Cricket World Cup, says Morne. And also bye-bye England, so sorry. And tonight I'm Samoa and I'm willing them on. And don't apologise, fella, says Taffy. And there as well, but now Tom Curry will make his way from the field. That is for Billy Vunipola. It's a rare card for a rare card from 2023, but Vunipola will enjoy the physicality that the Samoans will bring. Why bye-bye England already, though, says John. And Ford gained a lot of territory to get back for that tackle. Says Sider, yeah, he had to make a last-ditch effort to stop the dangerous Duncan Paiaua. And now Sama Malolo throwing the ball in at line-out time, nicely taken by Theo McFarland. And now, offloaded off the back for Fritz Lee. Sama Malolo set up on the inside with a good tackle made by Alice Genge. Jordan Lay across to Samuel Slade, man, who we haven't seen with the ball in hand too often throughout this contest. Michael Alatoa taken down to his knees by Ollie Chizamalolo. Once again with the pick and go. England's defence, they haven't been too bad throughout this game. 55 tackles made at half-time with only missing the 7 tackles. A name recall is impressive. It's almost like you're on the field calling the place, says Hio, or High Octane, I should say, rather than Hio. Thank you very much, mate. Now Stephen Luatua passes off short. Samoa not minding this one bit, just allowing them to make those couple extra meters time after time, and that is actually how they built up to their first try of Nigel Awong. Now advantage in favour of the Samoans. Alalatoa gets within 7 meters. Tamatine short ball up to McFarlane. Recycle quickly. Fritz Lee, great tackle on him, but finds the offload away to Danny Tawala. England scrambling at the moment. The defensive line, great low tackle made by Ben Earls, though, to shot down the Samoan. Fritz Lee has knocked it on. In fact, there's going to be a new advantage by the sounds of it. Maybe he didn't drop that. It looked like he was very close, though. Now Luatua, sling and pass out to Nigel Awong. Goes for the grubber of mine. About 4 Englishmen jump on that ball. Lima Sopawanga, what happened to him? Wasn't he at the Highlanders? What about Lumi Fatau from the Hurricanes? He was the man, says Hayden. So Lima Sopawanga, he ended up going to the Wasps in the Gallagher Premiership. I think he also spent a bit of time at another club in the Premiership most recently in the season. I believe he's averaged one of the penalty statistics. Says, given at the moment in the penalty stat, we have seen 5 penalties against England, 6 against Samoa throughout this game. 77 tackles made by the England side and only missing the 9 tackles. I feel like Samoa should have been further ahead by now, says Michael. I got my mate here, Max from New Zealand. He says, go Samoa, says David. Also, over there, come on, finish that. I'm bringing some fresh legs, says the New Age. I see Ford focus a bit more. I'd like to see Ford focus a bit more. It looks like Sopawanga lining up the 3 points now. This is to take them outside of that 7-point margin. After 47 minutes, this game is a good advert for rugby, says Michael. Maybe not so much for like the decision making of like the officials, probably not the best game to base it off, but in terms of the action that we have seen between these two teams, it has certainly been right up there for entertainment value. The English sitting on just the 8 points now. Samoa move up to 17. Dan Cole will be making his way from the field. I'll be honest, I don't think I've said that man's name once, but Kyle Sinclair now making his way out onto the field. Never been on Ireland in the quarterfinal, especially when they are going to face the All Blacks on their current form, says Smokin'. And also, who says Kalmack and Manu says Christina there. Now Jonathan Tamatine with 32 minutes remaining. Samoa inside of their own 22. Offloaded back from Brian Alana-Usi. Sopawanga goes off. Now to Duncan. Paioa kicks it in behind. Nigel Awong was chasing, but back there was Ford. There's plenty of time to be able to return fire with another kick. Have to get back to work. Good luck with the stream. One last. Let's go Samoa, says Michael. So do enjoy the rest of your day at work. It's been kicked in a touch by Danny Tawala there. Great game for sure. Agreed about the decision making, says Michael. And also England can't match the Samoan pressure, says Reno. I have to say for England, this is going to be, I'll be honest, this is going to be a big learning game for them because they have got more than likely Fiji in the quarterfinals of the Rugby World Cup, and they will need to know that in that contest, they have to match that physicality, and that's something we haven't really seen from England throughout the early stages of this one. Good morning, Amish brother. How you doing, mate? You're all cool. Going Samoa by 5. Says Birdie V, but great work from Sam Slade to rip the ball back for the Samoans. Referee about to give them the penalty advantage, but now looking to attack once more. Sopawanga, short ball off to Tamua Manu, who tries to get back to his feet, go again, and Sinclair has stopped them now the second time. Tamatine, little chip in behind from Danny Tawala. Sits up now for Freddie Stewart to get hit on the chin by Michael Alatoa, but he was sliding down. So it does mean that it is play on. Come on, Samoa, says Davy. Go Samoa, says Hayden there, and I like to see Fiji make the semis. Good line break from Ben Earl. Decides against the offload, and Fritz Lee almost got on him, and he does get the penalty for Manu Samoa once more. I mentioned in my preview that Fritz Lee was a player I was looking out for. Could be a key for the Samoans in this game. I won't mention anyone who is new. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently only 6 away from the 36,900. Sorry, folks, just got in and turned this on. Says Corey, but it is great to see you, mate. Once again, We've got Ireland versus Scotland just around the corner, and what a prelim this is for that later match that is going to be taking place. We've got there, are there any English supporters in the stands? They are not really welcome in France. That 100-year war is still a thing apparently. That's great work from Joe March, and keep the ball in the field of play, although he's now just kicked it out on the full, so he's pretty much done the work for the Samoans after working so well to keep it inside of the field of play. What's your opinion on the yellow referral card system? I mean, it works to a certain extent at times, but then also, like, there are times where we see it that they still do not make the right decision. All that posh money England has is just BS. So here's Callum, but now George Ford will go off the field for Marcus Smith. It's now to replace him. I believe he will be playing fly half, and Owen Farrell will still be at number 12. I spoke to my old lady about the Samoan coach, Hamish. She swore for 5 minutes straight, says audio. So a big fan of him then. Now, Danny Tawala off the line out, 40 metres out from the line. Looking to roll forward. Billy Vunipola doing well with Theo McFarland, who has now knocked the ball on, trying to get fancy and going for another phase. England back in possession. Farrell, he might have even slotted more into the 10 role here. It's been a big boot from Farrell. It's going to hit the post. And now Duncan Paioa from his own goal line has to kick this one into touch. I just want to say again, Samoa has got only about a 350,000 population, and England has at least 2 million rugby players according to most websites about player numbers per player or country stats. So here's Michael. And also, do you think there will be match fixing in the Ireland versus Scotland game? No, not at all. But, like, yeah, the fact that so many people are sold on the idea that there will be makes me very sad that people don't think that there'll just be a genuine good game of rugby between those two teams. Like, those two sides, they will go out there and they will put on an absolute fight. They'll put on a show because there's still so much on the line for them. Oh, big shot on Freddie Stewart. They'll go back for the original penalty, though. England are asleep on the over-the-top line-out, says Brian. And yes, says Seo. And also, go Samoa. And also, is Mike playing for England, Hamish? He is not, no. Michael Alatoa, of course, on the Samoan side. Hello, good morning, chat room. And also, it's going to be tonight, or Toit, says audio. This is a Rugby World Cup, not cricket, give it a rest. Says Spider-Man and Johnny Sexton and Dawn Van der Merwe were seen together last night, says John. But then saying that, like, the players are all eventually, like, they're going to come across each other out and about, aren't they? But then that, of course, adds to the conspiracy as well. Geez, big shot from Danny Tawala, but now 5 metres out from the line. England, another chance here for the rolling maul. Now, Jamie George still moving forward here for England. This is their chance to get back into the contest. Sama Malolo does brilliantly to keep that ball in. Although now the referee says that they do need to use it. To the short side, Alice Genge. Bit of work there in the breakdown from the rear for May. England right on the verge of getting themselves the try now. Flat ball to Sinclair, flattens out 1 metre from the line once again. You can't fix or match fix a game of rugby. You might lose your life. It's simply not worth it, says Lightbringer. And yeah, it's just one of those ones that, like, Ireland and Scotland, they have a friendly rivalry. It looks like if he's got over there, Ollie Chisholm might be claiming that try. Possibly. Oh, bit of push and shove now by the looks of it. I don't know what's happened, but it looks like the players are all tied up at this stage. What a World Cup, says Drekis. Referee blowing the whistle. He is not happy what has happened. Ireland and Scotland are not friendly towards each other, always competitive, says Greg. Exactly right. Like Carl Tanano on the commentary is saying, England are getting unsettled by Samoa. They're trying to stir them up, trying to annoy them. And at the moment, it's working. Something bad happened, says Michael. And also, over there, Hamish, what's on the breakfast menu? Probably a banana. I'd say it. Hit him, says Lightbringer. And also, go Samoa, says Yako. And also, Handbag, says Brian. Right, Billy Vunipola has pretty much been told by Andrew Brace, if you're going to act like that, we're going to take you off the field. Statistics are completely false. There are not 2 million players in England at all. There are 2 million registered members of clubs, which includes players and supporters, says Akaris. 2 million does sound like a lot though, doesn't it? In terms of like the number, I thought that it would be a bit lower than that. On-field decision, no try. What happens if to the pool Samoa wins? Nothing really. Samoa will for now jump into second, but the winner of Argentina versus Japan will overtake them after that next game. What time did you wake up, Hamish? Says Moreno. It was around midnight, about 12 New Zealand time. Ollie Chisholm. They're just showing the replay here of whether or not he was able to stretch out his arm. Now, you're allowed one movement, and that movement there, that's good. Ollie Chisholm, I believe, has just scored that try. And I will be sad, says Josh. And how many in New Zealand, says Greg? I think someone mentioned earlier on that there's about 1,000 clubs or something like that. So I'd assume that we'd have like I don't know whether we'd have 100,000. I feel like there'd be like at least like 30, 50,000, something along those lines. Grabbing a sneaky bevy for you, Hamish. There might be 2 million in England, but definitely not 2 million rugby players, says Liam. I think that Chisholm's done that all in one movement. Okay, they're going to show it in real time. That's not real time, that's slow-mo. So he's down. He's down. See, that for me is one movement. So I believe this is going to stay as a try for the English. Oh, okay, the Georgian referee, his TMO has said it's double movement. It was short, then he's used his arm. Okay, this is going to be called as a no try, ladies and gents. Our live stream has gone from 900 to 1.3k. Let's go for 1.5k. Says Reno, and yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It's been given as no try. Ollie Chisholm can't quite believe it. The crowd are not too happy with the decision in this game either. See, that's the thing. The TMO was like, I'll show you it in real time. Didn't show it in real time. Why don't you put try scorers' names, Mr. H? Says it was there from Andre, although I can tell you the try scorers. Chisholm was the try scorer for England, and then Nigel Wong got both tries for Samoa. We haven't had too many throughout this game as of yet. And decision is that he propelled himself forward after the tackle. Says Burning Lash. And also can't reach out when sliding or while sliding, says Greg. And there as well. And he goes tackle, but he's allowed to reach, says Krampus. Yeah, see, I believe the ruling was they felt like he propelled himself forward to then put it down, if I'm correct. Like he was tackled and then from there did have a little bit of the double movement trying to reach out. Yes, I'm registered at a club. I do not play anymore, says Akaris. And now, rolling more once again. Another chance here for England. 10 metres out from the try line. Jamie George has got it at the back. Georgian referee, yeah, the TMO or the touch judge is George, and the main referee is Andrew Brace of Ireland. George still has this one. Haven't made a huge amount of metres from this rolling ball, so we'll have to use it extremely soon. He tried again after being held up initially moving. Says the new age going short side. Alex Mitchell just swarmed by the Samoan defenders, and Sopawanga wins the penalty again for Manu Samoa. Every breakdown. At the moment, Alex Mitchell is not happy, but when is a halfback ever happy? We have Kadir watch his legs, says Peter Wild. And I'm new, says Bryexon. Hopefully I've said that correctly, but welcome in. Hope you are doing extremely well. Have been enjoying this Rugby World Cup competition. South Africa definitely top 3 teams in terms of defence, agreed, says Michael. And hold them off Samoa, says Daffy. And come on, and also go Samoa smash the Muso, says Zion. And they're in 1,809 clubs, says Alan there. When did the snapper come on the bite? Sadly, never here. That hasn't found touch from Samoa. Another mistake. Anytime they get that little bit of a chance in this game, they've been throwing it back to England saying, come on, boys, have one last crack at us. And now, can England use the most of that Samoa mistake and get themselves another try here? Marcus Smith, no look forward pass. I'd like to see them call that one, but they have not. Now Mitchell going back to Sinclair. In fact, they're trying to say, they said it was touch off the ball. Now, that might have been forward from Maro Itoje. Marcham will score, but they've got to look at some of this just to make sure it's all good. Samoa, let's go, says Katarina. And also, well, stupidity at its finest sometimes, says the noise. Yeah, that's about the third time now that Samoa have missed the touchline, and then England have gone on to almost score themselves a try. Right, on-field decision is a try. I got to hit the touchline, come on. And I was like, what, Samoa in front? Right, best angle they are showing here of that last pass from Manu Samoa. And Samoa hanging on for now, says Michael, and cheering all the way for Samoa. Go boys, says Ronald. And also come on Samoa and forward, says the new age. And there as well. But still 24 minutes remaining. All right, we'll see it from this angle. Manu Samoa. Yeah, that's a netball pass forward from Samoa, so there will be a no try for the English. Samoa's third place, says Josh. And also come on Samoa. And yes, you can stretch out when sliding. Some of the comments here are not correct. Do not make statements unless you know what you're talking about, says Akaris. And also Samoa, get up. This is where you lose by being not fit enough, says Calmick. And Samoa absolutely brilliant so far. If Farrell was on that team, he would have spear planted that TMO. Go Samoa, your beauty and forward, says Brian there. Okay, they're actually showing there was a first initial penalty in favour of the English. So now about 40 metres out from the line, they will have themselves the penalty here. Have they shown some hot English chicks in the crowd? I'll be honest, I haven't actually been looking at the crowd that much. Anytime that they have a stoppage in play, I read the chat. So, yeah, I'll probably miss quite a bit at the game. They're showing at the moment Danny Tuala, and the whole crowd is getting very angry with the ref, says Krampus. And Samoa, Fiji and Tonga are now teams everyone will take seriously, says Hangarat, and looking lacking against a 19-strong Samoan side, says Brown. And also England penalty now, says Brian, and amateur feedback on the live chat is outstanding. That's why we are here, says Reno. And while these officials are trying everything to help England, although now England will be lining up the 3 points that will get them back within the 7 in this match, will put them down by just the 6 points. I should say once again, anyone who's new, sure to hit that subscribe button. We are currently 99 away from hitting 37,000. So if you do want to help us get there, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Owen Farrell now lining up this kick from about 40 out on the angle. Maybe even just that a little bit closer. And the kick is successful now. The score will be 17 points to 11. Kiwi for life. How so? Are they just disallowed another English try but gave them a penalty, says Brown. Oh, wow, that is crazy but exciting. Come on, Samoa, says Joshua Taylor. And also pity Samoa could not find this form earlier in the tournament, says Michael. Although the problem for Samoa here is we're still seeing a few of those moments that have cost them games in the past. The likes of when they were playing Argentina and they threw that game away by trying to kick it downfield rather than running the ball. In their game up against Japan, ill discipline cost them that performance. And now we're going to have to wait to see whether or not there is some sort of late tail or late turn in this one. What colour is the referee's shirt? Blue, says DW. I mean, if you're inferring about that clear forward pass, then he's still got a yellow shirt on. But yeah, that was forward by about half a metre. I don't think, Stevie Wonder would have seen that one. Now, Alex Mitchell going to be putting this one up inside of the 22. Well, I'm Irish, and I'll be honest, I want England to win. Northern Hemisphere all the way. Says, round a small country with huge hearts. I love you, Samoa. And stats, says Sear, at the moment, statistically, we've got 8 penalties conceded by both teams. In fact, now 9 against the Samoans compared to the 8 of the English. Possession is just back in favour of England, 54% in their favour. And also results before. And also Samoa, $2.01 underdogs in this game. And that is a lot better than they started this match at. $8.50 underdogs, the biggest underdog of today. And they have certainly put in quite a big fight. But now England look into their bench again. I was never forward, says Scott Bowie. I think the problem with the way that Manu Samoa passed it, though, with that kind of netball style of pass, like it did, unfortunately, for him travel forward because his hands didn't go backwards. That's the other side of things that need to be considered, because normally if it drifts forward, that's fine, but if you are directing your hands in a backwards motion while passing, if that makes sense. But yeah, Manu Samoa with the chuck it from the chest meant that it went forward. And also, I love it. Go Samoa, says Craig. And if they really wanted to be technical, they could have gone back for the Marcus Smith forward pass to Owen Farrell about 3 phases beforehand, but they didn't need to because they saw that one. Apparently, England has never lost to Samoa, says Toby. It wouldn't surprise me. I feel like there are a lot of Pacific Island teams that haven't been able to beat these European sides. England playing terribly. They already through. That's what can you do, says Brown. And also Samoa have beat England in Rugby League. Ya dogs, says Uso. Yes, although not quite in the Rugby Union. So the things, well, I'm Welsh and I've got to say that. And also quarterfinals are going to be better than the finals, says Harry. And Samoa is in every team, says my page. Oh yeah, I've got there. Amish, did you say biggest underdogs today or today? Today. So out of the 3 games that are taking place, they are the biggest underdog. $8.50 compared to, I think, in that first game, Georgia was $7.50, and then later on tonight, Scotland are about $5.15. We are covering that game on the channel as well. So if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got our All Blacks at Samoa B, basically. Says also, although nicely cleaned up at the back of that scrum now for Ben Earl. Kicking downfield, Barrel looking for territory. He's found a lot of open space as well. Well cleaned up by Samoa. Beautiful flick pass, but well covered by Joe Marchant to stop that momentum and the possible counter-attack from the Samoans. My non-existent girlfriend just said she would call me Hamish for 24 hours if the stream gets 37k subs, says Bystander. I guess my non-existent girlfriend could also call me Hamish Bystander. But if anyone is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button, help Bystander get to his goal. And stay focused, Samoa, says Sunny. And relax, Aussie Portugal will save you. Samoa's terrible at kicking today, but good defence, says the New Age. And also hope for Japan as well, says Michael. Kick downfield, Johnny May. We haven't seen a lot of him throughout the second half of rugby, but now finds his offload up to George Martin. Ball goes out the side and the penalty to England. Okay, I didn't quite catch what Andrew Brace said there. I think that was against James Lay, though, maybe for in the side of the breakdown. Not rolling away, in fact, is what he has been penalised for. There was a try that they said was a double move. Says DW. See, that one I was more inclined to say was a try than the other one. See, I thought it was all right. They didn't really show it in regular motion, which I wanted to see whether or not there was that extra shuffle that he did. I can still send you my daughter's telephone number, Hamish. Just say the word, says Timid. How would I describe that, though, if I send her a message? Hey, your dad found me on the internet, and he said I should say hi. I feel like that would be a weird scenario for it. This ref is incredibly active in Samoa defence in the ruck, not so active the other way around. And also we have there, Google is calling England the Kingdom Kings. And also go Manu Samoa. And also even the commentator knows this ref, says the New Age. Now, going across to the left-hand side, Hamish, you can always buy a blow-up doll. Yeah, it'd be less lonely, wouldn't it? Now 20 metres out. Fired back by Malani Matavao. Kicked high from Lima Sapoanga. Not a huge amount of distance on that ball. And now England's still going to be in possession just out from the 22. Come grab a baby here in Botswana, Hamish. I'll give you 2 cows to woo here, says Sean. And also Farmer Lawsy Samoa, says Green CEO. I agree, should have been a try, says Joshua Taylor there. Don't marry, just date and adopt kids, says the New Age. As Samoans could kick, says Jimbo. Well, that's the thing. They've had a few kicking errors throughout this game when they haven't been able to find touch. And every time that has happened, England have been able to counter-attack with a decent chance. Hamish said, a win for Samoa is a huge prize for them guaranteed for the next World Cup, says Brian. Exactly right now, Joe Marchant goes off to Ollie Chisholm, though, around the bootlaces attempted by Lima Sopawong, and the ball's been thrown into touch there by England. Hey, Andrew Brace says no clear knock on there. Matava will come up clutch. What's for supper, Hamish, says Michael. I mean, you guys have been talking about like bacon and eggs and whatnot, and now I kind of want like a big breakfast, but I don't think anywhere locally does one, which is a shame. Beckham is crying, says just drive. And also Snapper, I think, should be coming into New Zealand coast. Am I wrong? They normally do, but North Island rather than South. For us, we kind of only really get elephant fish is one, and also a little bit of red cod where I am in New Zealand. I'm salting my 700 gram rump snake right now, an old pig and eggs, a Samoan breakfast. Says my page, looks like there might be some sort of injury here for Say La La Lamb. Hopefully nothing too serious. A burger and sweet potato fries, says Darren, and damn Samoa can make it if Argentina and Japan draw, says the USO. Although Samoa also do need to win this game with a bonus point as well as receiving or winning the game by 29 points as well. To be honest, I think Matavao is better than Tamatine, says Taunufi. I feel like Matavao has that X factor, doesn't he, when he comes off a bench. Sounds like they want to go upstairs for something here. Once more, this game has had a lot of stoppages with the TMO, etc. Keep it a good word. Thanks for the video, says Green. Thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciate it. Okay, they are just checking something here. Okay, the time is off. Captain being called over as well. And, I mean, it's a no-arms tackle from the Samoan player. He didn't get him in the head, which is one benefit for Paul Aluamele, but I believe it is still going to be a penalty in favour of England due to that no-arms chance. You think Springboks would prefer France or New Zealand? Says Darren. I think they won't mind either way, but I think in a way they'll want to save New Zealand for later in the competition, if that is the way that it can work out. And come on, Manu. Says Rato and a dried elephant biltong. I'm not proud. It was as tough as you would think. I just question the source. Says bystander. And also TMO sponsored by Kit Kat. Take a break, have a Kit Kat. Says Lightbringer. So this will be another penalty, this time against Paul Aluamele. England straight out in front. It's off the ball tackle. Owen Farrell trying to ask the referee to give it as a card. And if anyone knows a thing or two about receiving cards, it would be Owen Farrell. We have got there off the ball tackle by Samoa, just a penalty. Says Brian. TMO is more in this game than the ref, says Ben. And also how much time is left. Still 17 minutes remaining in this contest. This game is going to go for well over 2 hours with all the TMO decisions and whatnot that we have had. And also we've got there, apparently France rigged the World Cup, says Uso. Well, they didn't do a very good job of it. Because I feel like the fact that they're going to be playing more than likely South Africa in the quarters will make you know, that's going to be a tough game to have. A best bait for New Zealand snapper, I honestly wouldn't know. Because, like, we chuck a bit of squid out and catch the dogfish, so that works all right for us. But I don't think they'd like squid, the snappers. I drew way too much ref interference in this game. And also, damn English are going to kick themselves out of trouble, says Burning Lash. Boasts again, that's a tribute to Samoa's defence. Now, Owen Farrell to line up this kick. And also, we've got there, save your freedom, young man. You'll suffer enough when some babe ropes you in. No need to hurry it along, says Igor. Oh, Farrell took too long for the kick. So because he took more than the 60 seconds, this kick, even though it went over, will not stand. Massive mistake from the English. And that's just, I'll be honest, that's diabolical from Owen Farrell. How do you mess up a 60-second timer taking a kick at the post? Just kick the ball after 20 seconds and that solves all your troubles. But now they're going to go upstairs to check the timer now. And also, I guess making the game boring. And the clock is done, says Brian. And also, Farrell, says Peter there. And OMG, remarkable. What? How is this game progressed to where we are now? That is the question. That's pressure. How is it? Like, that's the thing. It shouldn't be pressure. Owen Farrell, theoretically, should know, hey, I don't need to use up every single last second of this kick because it's straight out in front. He should have been able to slot it over in his sleep after, let's say, 15 seconds. They sped up the clock, says DW. And shot clock gets him, says Yeda. So, yeah, that's going to be no points. Farrell making up for earlier TMO decision, says Rugby Itch. And Farrell lost to the clock. It's to me, Mr. Kiwi for life. But, yeah, how do you do that? Like, because the thing is, if it was at the end of the game, no, even that would be bad because you should know how long's left on the clock. But there's no time where you need to take 60 seconds to line up a kick. That should be just a simple one. Definitely when you're down, you should be kicking that as quickly as you can. And come on, Samoa, says Tommy. What a joke, they really want this Pom side to win. Travesty, says Vaughan. And Zero Flow to the game, frustrating to watch, says Bill. Yeah, it's been one of the more stop-start games that we have seen of this Rugby World Cup competition so far. This game is descending into a total farce. Says Akaris, this is a joke. The Timo checking the clock. No, they didn't end up going upstairs for it in the end. They just turned off the clock. And there. Right. Penalty goes the way of Samoa at scrum time. England's front row collapse. Okay, they said it was stepping back and collapsing. And also good call, ref. The best decision you've made, says Zion. I know armed by the clock on and come on. Get on with it, boring, says Tilly. Now Samoa looking for the touchline. They have missed touch about 4 times throughout this game, but that time it has gone out. Good day, Hamish. Please say hello to my wife. Magdalene, please, says Moritz. So shout out to your wife. And when last was the clock calibrated, says Bruce. And bloody goes Samoa, says David. Imagine South Africa continuing as an independent nation, says Smokin'. Yeah, it's a weird scenario, isn't it? Because, yeah, I hope everything gets cleared up that needs to, and it's just going to be that they're South Africa. Because some people have said about how if they're an independent nation, then what happens if they win the cup? Who gets the trophy? I guess you'd say that's taken out in the air. Penalty goes the way of England. Farrell taken out. Oh, the ref's going to the pocket for a yellow card. Repeated infringements. Now Samoa playing with 14 men on the field. Screen work for today. This game is way more entertaining, says Michael, and give the English cannon and gun and raw spirit. See where we end up. And also we've got the wow no cooking show this time on the rugby, says Stahl. Big kick downfield from England and now playing with a man advantage. Taking the man out in the air of Owen Farrell. I think so much, says Moritz. Samoa Manu frustrated because unfortunately it wasn't that challenge in itself deserved the yellow. It was because of how many penalties Samoa have given away in a row. Samoa just got a yellow card, but yeah, it wasn't for that one. It was for the repeat infringements from Samoa in off-the-ball incidents that led to them getting the yellow. Now England only sitting 20 metres out from the try line here on attack. Mauro Toge. These TMOs should get PED tested. They are a little jittery. Now Marcus Smith, the Harlequins representative, not able to find the pass away to Ollie Lawrence. And Danny Kerr, across couple Quins boys, have now made their way onto the field. Kerr with the sniping run gets wrestled down by Theo McFarlane, 2 metres now. And I believe they've got another penalty advantage here. The discipline for Samoa. I mentioned how it's hurt them in the past. And this seems like, once again, it could be the case here. Another advantage for offside. And around the side, flattening out short. Danny Kerr, they've got numbers on the left. If they decide to use them, Owen Farrell, skip pass, goes backwards into the hands of Johnny May, who does get the ball stripped by Malani Matavalo. Go back for another penalty. Almost 2 hours for this game alone, says Christian. Yep, we're going to be going over the 2 hours for this matchup, and it's, I'll be honest, it has been the least free-flowing game of rugby we've had throughout this Rugby World Cup. The other one that was a little bit like this one was probably Chile and Samoa. I think that game was about 2 hours, 3 minutes, but then that also had an injury involved, which did stop quite a bit of the clock. But I will mention anyone who is new, sure to leave a like and subscribe. We are 81 away from our goal of 37,000 subscribers. So if you do want to help us get there, please do hit that subscribe button. The yellow was because of all the penalties, says Michael. It was, like I said, repeated infringements is what led to the yellow, not so much that challenge from Tamua Manu, but instead the fact that there had been so many infringements in the build-up. I was wondering if the same players haven't placed some bets, says Biff. And speaking of the bets, at the moment, the English are $1.42 favourites to win this game. Samoa, $4.60, even though they do lead by these 6 points at this stage. But the English going for the scrum, 5 metres out from the Samoan try line with 11 minutes on the clock. So Samoa will be back to 15 in 7 minutes. Go Samoa, says Moritz, and hold on Samoa, says Stormy. Take another kick, England, says T in there. Referee, double blow the whistle. Gonna have another reset. Boring English, says Daniel Watson and Samoa has to keep the scrum out of Matavao. I had to turn over the whistle, or the ref slow to blow his whistle, says the New Age. I guess the benefit that Milani Matavao has is from that 7 side of things, getting over the ball, being able to really hold his own body weight. England, I mentioned 5 metres out from the line. Takes drop goals, Lima Sopawanga. Says Blues, no, keep fighting my Samoa. Says S. Lesser. And Samoa says Jordan D. I just, truth honestly, nothing else counts in my book, says Stahl. And if England got their strongest team on, says Toby, it is relatively close to what they will be going with, I believe, in their quarterfinals, although they might make a couple changes. They feel like it hasn't quite worked in cohesion for this match. Big push now from England, going straight sideways, and the scrum steal from Milani Matavao, but it is knocked on instantly as he made his way around the side. So now another scrum feed for the English. And the thing is, this is using up a lot of time on the Tamua Manu yellow card, but the thing is, if England don't get over the try line, Samoa would slowly start going towards favourites by the end of this. More than 2 hours, Hamish, I will be on overtime, says Bruce there, and hold on Samoa, says nobody and exciting, says Wise One and Web Ellis Cup winners of 2023 Independent Nation, says Smokin. Yeah, I've also heard, like, this is only like the rumours at this stage, but if they are taking part in the Rugby World Cup, like some people have said, if they aren't qualified as South Africa, are they even eligible to play in the Rugby World Cup? Which is why I hope everything just gets cleared up super easy and the Springboks can stay as the Springboks with the South African national anthem, flag, everything like that. But yeah, it would be an interesting scenario if something does happen. Everybody is talking about plate competition for the weaker teams this year. It is called Pool C and D, says Jacques. And also goes Samoa, says Charlene. And also Samoa won it, but knocked on. And also guess click the like button, says Miminer. Yeah, if you haven't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It is greatly appreciated. Now we're actually only the 70 away from that goal. You can do the Samoa, says Andre, and 18 points to 17. And a ref wasting energy, says a Wordle. Now another advantage, penalty advantage in favour of the English. And now they've got another penalty. And Samoa, keep your lead so close to winning, says Neki there, and Samoa win and Samoa come up. You can do this. And I don't care because the Springboks died in 1994, says Ben Kennedy. And history in the making, 14-man Samoan thrashed English with 1 hand behind their backs, says Tuta. Although once again, another scrum, and I would say next time they give away the penalty, Samoa definitely this close to their line at scrum time, there is a chance that they may find another man heading to the bin. Unfortunately, just too much pressure. And then thank the African National Congress for anything they touch, says Cameron Day. And come on, Samoa wins, says Etini. 4 minutes now remaining. On to Muamanu. We said it was 7 minutes at the start of the scrum sequence. We have had about 3 or 4 minutes so far of scrums, where the ball has hardly shifted. Another free kick going the way of England. We will get to see, more than likely, another scrum, and now a warning for the Samoan saying if you do anything more like that, you are going to be going to the bin. Samoa is going to butcher this, says Mr. Mala there, and Samoa Yala Kading, says Joe, and Matavao should have just hit the referee, injured him. Bring the Fiji ref more fair, says the New Age. And England won a Wales quarterfinals, says Vasteria. Although they will not get it, they will be going head-to-head with the Fijians, no matter the result of this contest, or they will be facing Australia. That is the other way that it could end up going. Embrace is killing this game, says Yvonne. And hang on, Samoa. And if Scotland wins, will South Africa be knocked out? Not quite, no. They have to win by, I believe it's about 21 points, as well as the Irish getting a bonus point there. So theoretically, the minimum score in that game for South Africa to get knocked out would be Scotland 41, Ireland 20, which is, you know, for that to happen, I don't see as a very likely scenario. I feel like it will be a much lower scoring close game between the two teams. But now England 5 metres from the line once more. Danny Kerr feeds it in. Looks like Beno will leave it for Kerr, who just snipes through the gap. And that is the try for England. They have been eagerly awaiting the chance to score it for maybe the last 15 minutes or so. But Danny Kerr will score it. It's between the posts also. So a nice easy kick for the English to then take the lead in this contest. And I know Samoa YYY says smoking, and Ireland says Ben Kennedy. We talked about the trend that Samoa has had throughout this Rugby World Cup, having opportunities to win games, then throwing it away near the end. They're put in a massive fight here, but now they're going to have to dig into that next gear down and see whether or not they can pull it back. FFS says Yeta, and as I say, everything I would love Manu Samoa to close this out. I hope Ireland win or Scotland wins with 8, says Etienne. And keep an eye on the clock. Yep, Owen Farrell just checking over his shoulder, making sure he knows how much time he has now got remaining. And Owen Farrell doesn't take long to kick that one over. That was smart. And now, 74 minutes in, 18 points to 17 in favour of the English. This ref grew it up in Ireland and Wales. I already know he favours England. BS says the new age, and that's a try inevitable, really. Says Brian there. Yeah, Danny Kerr managing to get that try. And with that man disadvantage in the back line for Samoa, there was always going to be a gap somewhere in their defensive setup. And now Ollie Lawrence having a bit of a step around Vunipola. I believe he has gone back onto the field. That is to replace Tom Curry. And Farrell took that quick, says Brian. Yeah, didn't want to waste the time. Now Danny Kerr does go into touch. We have got there, Farrell. Oh no, I read that one. And also typical England play like bad and steal it at the end, says Ivan. And that was try of the tournament, says Crumpus, was it? I mean, we've seen a decent try earlier on in the game with Nigel Wong from the cross kick. I'd say probably would have been a bit higher, but yeah, I don't think that one's even in the top 50 tries that we've seen throughout the competition. And Bitty now Samoa needs a great effort for the last few minutes. And this is for automatic qualification for the next Rugby World Cup. But Samoa have got themselves the line out. Theo McFarlane slaps it back and the free kick does go their way due to England closing the gap. And also we have got there Samoa's bench. Didn't get an opportunity to attack yet. We will see, says the new age. And go for the 3 Samoa, although it is just the free kick here, so they aren't able to go for the posts. Drop goals, says Etienne. And also TMO has been in England starting lineup and on the bench, says Mimania. And Farrell, what an idiot. The only time I've ever watched a player run out of time and on a very easy kick, says Ivan. Yeah, it was just like there was no scenario that made sense for Owen Farrell to take so long with that kick because they didn't need to wear down on the clock because they were still chasing the game. So if anything, they wanted more time to be able to do well. And also, I feel like there's been some favour towards England by the refs, says Brian. Although I think in this game, I'll be honest, the refereeing for both sides has been pretty poor. Overall, the TMO, I think he thinks he's the main referee, but he's been getting involved in everything that he can. And it just has been a really non-free-flowing game of rugby. But, like, credit where credit's due. Both of these sides have gone out there and still tried their absolute hardest to get over that try line. And speaking of doing so, Samoa now 3.5 minutes remaining. And they are currently sitting about 30 metres out from the try line. Thank you, Hamish, for your commentary. Enjoyed it a lot. I'll see you at 9 p.m. South African time for the next one. Says Smokin'. And also, most ideally, Scotland need to beat Ireland 49 points to 28. Perhaps not, says Mark. And Samoa have conceded 29 penalties. Not quite. I think it's about 11. And I think England are sitting on about that same number too. Oh no, up to 14 now for Samoa. So they were sitting 9-9, but Samoa last 5 penalties have gone against them. And now, Matavao, short pass to Theo McFarlane. They are still playing with one less man on the field. And if they can score themselves a try here or get a conversion over, they will take the lead in this contest. Big shot coming in from Billy Vunipola. Back to Sopawonga. Looked like they were considering that drop kick option. It is a knock on though from the Samoans. Danny Kerr cleans it up. Other ref is in favour of England at the moment. a drop goal possibly. They considered it, but he was about 45 metres out, so decided against it in the end. Now Farrell just looking to put as many metres as he can, taken by Nariafamai. Haven't seen a lot of him running throughout this game. Tackled by Ollie Lawrence. Counter ruck there from the English, but unable to turn the ball over. Brian Elena-Usi, he has had to put in a big shift, and he's just knocked that ball on again. England with the counter-attacking opportunity. In the midfield, Johnny May. Missed tackle attempt from Sama Malolo. Sopawonga with the counter ruck for the Samoans. But they have now been told to leave it. They're hanging there, Samoa. Show that power that you had in the first half, boys. See, here's Joshua. Now to the left. Skip pass. Freddie Stewart kicks it deeper inside of the Samoan 22. Mataval, big fend there on Smith, gets rid of Chisholm, inside ball to Nigel Wong, and the Samoans now move up to the halfway line. Seems like it could go down to the wire. Samoa still playing with only 14 minutes. Tamua Manu has been off the field for about 12 minutes now. Duncan Paioa puts on the afterburners. Offload on the inside to Nerea Famai. Last-ditch effort from Danny Kerr. Pop pass up to Alamanda Matanga, who knocks the ball on. And England now, with 1 minute left on the clock, have to just close out this game with a few phases back-to-back just out from their own goal line. They were close. Samoa there. Still 55 seconds, though. Anything can happen, but currently the advantage is still in their favour for England. This game just ticking over the 2-hour mark. Kicked high by Danny Kerr, drifting towards the touchline. Beautifully taken by Freddie Stewart. That is now advantage over, though. Samoa are not in possession as of yet. 1 point difference between these two sides. Joe Marler hits that ball up, and it does seem like now England are in the mindset of 2 more phases, then put the ball in to touch. You can see the emotion on the faces of the Samoan bench as they wait for these final few moments. Almost the turnover there for Samoa in the breakdown. But now 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Kerr's told to use it. He puts it back into the pocket. Farrell will boot it into touch. And the English walk away with the win. 18 points to 17. A game that has gone down to the wire. You can see the frustration on Lema Sopowanga's face. The biggest losing margin for the Samoans throughout this Rugby World Cup was 9. This is their closest losing margin that they have had in this contest. England were lucky, says Brian there, and heartbreaking, says Michael, and great win, says DW Bulls. Tell you what, they had to dig as deep as they have had to throughout this Rugby World Cup. England, that game could have easily gone to either of those sides. In the end, England, they make it out of the group undefeated, and they will now secure themselves a spot up against either Australia or Fiji. The thing is, there is a chance that we see the Fijians take to the field next week, try and get some redemption for their Pacific Island brothers. But until then, the English, they will be on a high. Although there's a lot that they will have to do before the end of this game or before their next game to improve on. It was one of the more scrappier performances we have seen. And that sucks, says Norm Maxwell. And also, never mind Samoa next time, lucky for England, says David. And also, we have got there one thing for sure. England have a snowball's chance in hell. Oh, winning this World Cup, says Brian. Yeah, I feel like this performance here told us that England, the selection, I don't know if it was the selection problem, but I don't think they can play Farrell and Ford in the same starting lineup. I think that will be their downfall if they do. Hey, you can comment on cricket during this week, says John, although normally cricket gets us copyright strikes, so we aren't too keen on getting too many of them. And also fixing World Cup, says Master. You've been watching cricket too long, Master. And Rugby Union, his toilet, says Melbourne. And also cheers, Amish, says Bill. And close call England, says Claire. And then thanks for the commentary, says Stretch. And also, where's my 17 all draws, says Fit. It was extremely close, just that one extra point for the English. And thanks for the commentary, says Stretch. And there is also, we have now got 25 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, until the next game takes place, or at least the next live stream that we are doing is going to be starting up. So I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We are then going to be going on to that next live stream in 25 minutes time. But before then, we're hoping to get out our our review of the Samoa versus England game. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. In fact, with the lack of time that we have got before that next contest, I do feel we probably will release that Samoa one just a little bit later on. But thank you all very much for being here. Next game is Scotland versus Ireland. I will see you all